Welcome to Sacrilegious Discourse.
I'm husband.
And I'm wife.
Together, we're reading the Bible for the very first time.
We grew up without religion and wanted to know what all the fuss was about.
Well, what have we learned so far?
That God is a dick, and apparently some people believe in talking donkeys?
We're not trying to pass ourselves off as experts.
Nope, we're just reading the Bible for the first time and giving our first take reaction.
If you'd like to join us in this venture, you might consider starting at episode 1.
Otherwise, jump in wherever you like.
All right, let's go read the Bible.
Yeah, let's get to it.
Hey wife, did you know that Anchor is sponsoring our show?
Really? Don't we use Anchor to distribute our podcast on Spotify and Apple Podcasts?
Yeah, and we are on just about every other platform available as well, thanks to them.
Why do we use Anchor as our podcasting service?
Well, they make editing and distributing our show a breeze.
What if one of our listeners wants to start their own podcast?
Then they should head over to anchor.fm or download the app to get started.
Awesome! You guys should go do that right now! Husband.
Wife.
Do you remember what happened on Friday?
I cheated. I went back and looked a little bit.
What?
Sort of. I just glanced at it. But it was like David was doing the same shit he'd been doing. He's been getting crowned king, and he was killing Philistines and shit like that.
And he captured Zion.
Yeah, that one. That's because we had to discuss what Zion was in the Q&A. So, yeah.
And then
sorry, I cheated.
And then he had more children.
Yeah, they just popped. I mean, he was popping them out left and right.
Well, his girls were.
Yeah, we don't even know how many people he's married to now because it said there was new wives, but they didn't mention who any of the fucking new wives were.
Are they important? They're just vessels. That's what the SCOTUS has told me.
I don't know. Somebody told me that they're looking forward to when we meet one of his wives, Bathsheba. So
right.
I keep in my mind, I'm like, when's Bathsheba coming in?
You said Beth, but it's Bath.
Bathsheba.
Bath. Like take a bath.
Sorry.
Bathsheba.
I'm just listening to the story here. I'm not reading it, so I don't get to see the words, you know?
I know. I'm just telling you.
I know you're telling me.
But even if we do
now I got it, Bathsheba.
But even if we do meet Bathsheba and find out she's awesome, at the end of the day, according to SCOTUS, women are merely vessels for carrying babies. And the reason that they want babies is not because babies are awesome, because otherwise, you know, we would have an awesome, like, maternity and paternity time off and lots of care for children and health care for the mom and the children. But no, we don't have all that. So it's just for us to keep popping out babies that we can't afford to have, to create this dumbed down, stupid fucking workforce for them. Because did you hear that Amazon is running out of people to exploit?
No, I did not hear that.
Oh my God, I heard this in a news podcast.
Mm-hmm.
There was an internal memo leaked that said that they are running out of resources to exploit. Resources being fucking people. They need a bigger workforce. So let's pop out more babies as fast as possible so that Amazon can have a fucking workforce.
Okay. Well, now that you went on for like an hour, I'm going to just say one more thing here before we go into the next chapter, or before we go into the reading of the Bible. Mm-hmm. I'm going to say, just for the record, here at Sacrilegious Discourse, fuck at least 6 of the SCOTUS.
Right. Yes. Fuck them.
Those 6 in particular.
Those 6 in particular.
Right.
Also, this is coming out on July 4th, which is American Independence Day. And I'm not feeling it this year, y'all.
Right.
I'm pretty fucking angry and irate. I do not feel patriotic. I'm not proud to be an American. Some fucking motorcycle guys just rode through town blasting a fucking radio that was playing God Bless Texas. And you know what? Fuck Texas. I lived there, so I can say fuck Texas.
Yeah, they probably didn't live in Texas.
No, they didn't. They lived in fucking Ohio. They've probably never even been out of the state.
Possibly out of the metro area.
I'm betting.
Just saying.
I'm betting. Fucking redneck piece of shit. Anyways.
Jesus.
Okay.
You were on rare form tonight.
I am not a happy person right now.
All right. Well, what are we reading today?
Okay, that was me going off after 2 Samuel chapter 5. Today we are reading 2 Samuel chapter 6.
All right, let's go read it.
We're going to go read it now. Okay, 2 Samuel chapter 6.
Okay.
David goes to bring the ark.
What?
David goes to bring the ark.
I'm interested.
I don't know what's happening.
I don't know what this is about, but I'm interested.
Well, doesn't he already have
Wait. Is
the
this the Ark of the Covenant? Or this is probably the Ark of the Covenant. I thought, for like in my mind when he said Ark, I was thinking like Moses' Ark. I'm like,
you mean
he's gonna
Noah's Ark?
That's what I meant, yeah.
Oh my God.
I always get Noah and Moses confused. Always.
I get those guys confused except for if the word ark is mentioned, then I know it's Noah's Ark.
I don't know. My mind just didn't work there. So.
But no, yeah, they're not talking about Noah's Ark, and they're definitely not talking about Moses.
But the Ark of the Covenant. Okay, that makes more sense. But it's just it's like it's been hundreds of years, and this is like, you know, like we're hundreds of years after Joshua, and this is the first mention of the Ark since Joshua.
That's not true.
It's not?
No, they talked about the Ark being in Judah or something. And it was stolen, and then they brought it back, and...
That was right after Joshua, though. That was still in the time of, whatever, like, right after Joshua.
Wasn't that in the time of Samuel? I'm pretty sure that was in the time of Samuel.
Okay.
I thought that was in 1 Samuel that happened.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I could be wrong, but...
I could be wrong, too. I don't know.
Well, you guys are...
I probably am wrong.
You guys are better at keeping us straight, so let us know on Twitter if...
Yeah, when did the Ark get stolen? Because I can't remember exactly what...
And they brought it back with wandering cows, remember?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that was 1 Samuel.
Well, I'm looking it up after the podcast, too, because I'm curious. So.
Okay. Well, you guys let us know also.
Right.
Okay? So let's read this.
Yeah.
Then David again gathered all the elite troops in Israel, 30,000 in all. That's a lot of
troops. A lot of troops, yeah. Normally they only need like 300 to defeat their enemies or some stupid shit.
But he did kill his 10,000s.
Right.
So, I mean, he can have as many as he wants.
I guess.
He led them to Bala, I don't know.
Sure.
Bala of Judah to bring back the Ark of God, which bears the name of the Lord of Heaven's armies, who is enthroned between the cherubim.
Huh. Okay.
That God guy.
So, like, literally God sits on the Ark of the Covenant?
That's what they're saying.
That's interesting.
Mm-hmm. Between the cherubim.
Yeah. Which, that's also... So, hear me out here.
Okay.
Because we were talking about in one of the Q&As that... actually, it was the one about Zion. So, Zion... is also known in the New Testament as, like... Heaven, basically, right? Mm-hmm. So, literally, God is sitting on a throne in heaven.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they're gonna... That's what this is... Like, if you look at it from the perspective of... They're saying heaven in the New Testament versus... This is heaven on earth, essentially. Mm-hmm. That there's the throne right there in heaven, essentially.
Got it.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's... a stretch, but I'm just saying, like that's...
the equivalency.
Yeah.
If we were reading this with the New Testament in mind, which we haven't read yet, so we're not supposed to.
Right. But I'm just saying, if we are imagining that God is throned on the fucking Ark of the Covenant, and He's in Zion, and Zion is heaven in the New Testament, then that's true. Interesting. That's all.
Okay, I see that. That's a good stretch.
It's just, I'm just...
It's decent.
I'm making some connections that I have no idea about. I'm just throwing it out there.
I'll allow it because I'm sure Christians have done that.
Sure. I mean, they make up all kinds of shit, so...
Mm-hmm. They take a connect the dot, and by the time you're done with it, it's not even a picture that was what the original was drawn.
Right.
It's an entirely different... Like, if the connect the dot was a cat... By the time they get done with it, it's a fucking house with a barn and a horse.
Right.
And you're like, how the hell?
Yeah.
They placed the Ark of God on a new cart and brought it from Abinadab's house. Wasn't
Abinadab just had it in his house?
Wasn't Abinadab, that's one of Saul's kids, right?
I don't know.
I think so.
But he just had it in his house.
He had it in his house.
Huh.
Which was on a hill.
Okay.
His house, the house on the hill.
But the Ark was just sitting in some dude's house.
I mean, okay, it's not like a house like our house. It's going to be like a big old, like, villa estate thing.
I mean, that's what you're imagining.
Yeah.
It could just be a mud hut that's enough room to sleep one person. And he's got that and a fucking Ark sitting over there. He's like, God damn, taking up my pillow space over there.
I'm sure if he had the Ark that it was a decent digs.
Okay.
That's my impression.
All right.
Uzzah and Ahio, Abinadab's sons, were guiding the cart that carried the Ark of God. Ohio, not Ohio, Ohio.
Right. It's interesting to me that they are not calling it the Ark of the Covenant, though.
Yeah.
It's the Ark of God, or is that what they're saying? The Ark of God?
The Ark of God.
That's really interesting.
Yeah. I wonder if there's something in that, like why they changed the language again out from under us.
Yeah.
They were guiding the cart that carried the Ark of God. Ohio walked in front of the Ark. David and all the people of Israel were celebrating before the Lord, singing songs and playing all kinds of musical instruments. Lyres, harps, tambourines, castanets, and cymbals.
Sounds like a good old time.
Boom, boom, boom.
It's like a New Orleans street party when they got the Ark behind them.
Badass, yeah. You know? Na, 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 na. Yeah. But when they arrived at the threshing floor, we know about those threshing floors.
I don't. Well, I mean, there was maybe just
the threshing parties. Had like a little
threshing
wild.
orgy or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But when they arrived at the threshing floor of Nacon, the oxen stumbled.
Oh no!
And Uzzah reached out his hand and steadied the Ark of God.
Oh, thank something.
No, I bet that's bad. He fucking touched it with his hand.
He's gonna get burned because it's got that radiation.
He's gonna melt like in Indiana Jones.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah. Then the Lord's anger was aroused against Uzzah. See?
Oh man! But he was just trying to steady it, man.
Well, he shouldn't have fucking touched it.
What did he get?
Let it fall.
What the fuck? No. This is bullshit. This is bullshit, and he knows it. God's stupid.
Yeah, no, I totally agree.
Like, no.
It's like how a flag is not supposed to drape on the floor. So, like, if you did, like, a slide into first base to make sure that you slid in under it to catch it before it drags on the floor.
Yeah.
And then the flag gets pissed off that you touched it, and it's like, but did you want to touch the floor instead?
I'm telling you, what they found is fucking uranium.
That could be.
I mean, that was what it had to be.
That could be.
They all fucking get boils and shit, and like they're melting when they fucking touch this shit.
Look what happens.
Okay.
God struck him dead because of this.
Damn.
He was just trying to steady it. Oh my God. So Uzzah died right there beside the Ark of God.
That's really stupid.
I hate this God.
What the fuck was he supposed to do?
Let it drop, I guess.
I guess, but that's really dumb.
But then they all would have got in trouble for letting it drop.
Right. God. There's like literally no reason to kill this guy.
No, none.
Not that they've given.
No.
That was one of the dumbest reasons I've seen so far.
Picking up sticks on the wrong day.
That's why I qualified
eating
one of
honey or
lighting the wrong fire.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
David was angry because the Lord's anger had burst out against Uzzah. He named that place Perez Uzzah, which means to burst out against Uzzah, as it is still called to this day.
David was angry at mad. God.
He was like, "Fuck you, my dude."
And God let David be angry at him? But he killed Uzzah for trying to steady the fucking ark.
Yeah. So now
sounds to me like some shit happened, and dude got killed, and they blamed it on God for some reason. I don't know why, but they blamed it on God because it had to do with the ark. And then. So
David's mad. Let me read you the next sentence.
Okay, all right.
David was now afraid of the Lord because he got pissed off.
If he was afraid, then why would he be mad at him? If you were afraid,
he's afraid of him because he got mad.
Oh, okay, all right.
So. Okay, here's what happened. So Uzzah accidentally touched the thing to try to make it not fall on the ground, right?
Yeah.
God said, "Fuck you for touching me. Boom, you're dead." And then David was like, "Oh my God, that was so mean." And then he was like, he put his hand over his mouth like, "Did I really say that out loud?"
In God's defense, I just gotta say this. Because you can't see the dude, right?
Right.
Maybe when Uzzah went to go study the ark, he actually punched God in the nuts. I'm just saying, like, as far as...
We weren't there.
And he just reacted, like, smote him right there, because he's like, fuck you.
If you had that kind of power and somebody kicked you in the nuts, might you accidentally smite them?
It could be an accident, like, it could have been an accidental smiting.
An accidental spite.
Because he got punched in the nuts by Uzzah.
That's fair.
I'm just saying. Fair. If we're going to go with that route, it could have been an accident.
It could have been an accident.
Nut punch.
Right.
That's all. I'm just saying.
That's fair.
Okay. Yeah.
So David's now afraid of the Lord because he was, he dared to be pissed at him.
Right, yeah.
And he asked, "How can I ever bring the ark of the Lord back into my care?"
Right, because now you might get, in trouble.
You're going to get cursed, boy.
Yeah.
So David decided not to move the ark of the Lord into the city of David.
Oh.
Instead, he took it to the house of Obed-Edom of Gath.
Okay.
The ark of the Lord remained there in Obed-Edom's house for 3 months. And the Lord blessed Obed-Edom and his entire household.
Well, that's good. I guess.
I'm glad God blessed that guy.
And in this 3 months, David didn't decide to just ask God if he was, cool? Because he talked to God a lot.
God,
you
are
know?
we good?
Yeah,
are we
right?
good?
Wouldn't you just be like, are we all right, dude?
You hurt my feelings when you killed that guy. I'm sorry I got mad at you.
Right.
Can we be good now?
It's not like God doesn't know you're mad at him, right?
Right.
So wouldn't you just like try to clear the air if you can talk to him? If I could talk to God, I would sure as hell try to clear the air.
I would ask a lot of questions.
Well, yeah, that too. That too. But I'm just saying, like, if I thought I was in trouble, I'd try to clear the air.
Right.
Like, what's up, man?
Yeah. So, next section.
Yeah.
Okay. The ark brought to Jerusalem.
Okay.
Okay, so here we go.
Yep.
Then King David was told, the Lord has blessed Obed-Edom's household and everything he has because of the ark of God.
So we can't let it stay there. We gotta bring that blessing shit over here,
I
man.
need the blessings.
Right?
So David went there and brought the ark of God from the house of Obed-Edom to the city of David with a great celebration.
Okay.
I'm gonna take this blessing now and you can celebrate.
Yeah.
Yay, I get the blessings.
I bet the dude that got it taken from him, he's like, I'm good. You guys can just leave it here.
Yeah. Like, I have no beef with it being in my
Right.
garage.
Yeah, it seems to be
fine.
going well. You
Right?
know?
After the men who were carrying the ark of the Lord had gone 6 steps, David sacrificed a bull and a fattened calf. And David danced before the Lord with all his might, wearing a priestly garment.
Okay.
He's like...
6 steps.
6 steps.
Like, in total?
In total,
like,
6
left
steps.
the house, walked 6 steps,
and then he was like,
sacrificed animals.
Hang on, we got to sacrifice and
You got to
dance.
do this every 6 steps?
All I
It's
could
gonna be
think,
a long fucking trip.
Okay, so you're caught up on the steps. What I was thinking is, remember in the movie Footloose when that guy was like, dancing is evil. But like, these people dance all through the Old Testament.
Yeah, they also marry a shit ton of people too.
No, I'm just saying.
And have
like,
abortions and all kinds of crap.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying.
I know.
Like, it was a stupid thing to pick, as with many
right.
points. It was a stupid one to pick out because they all dance.
Right.
So Footloose was based on people being dumb.
Yeah, people just choose what they want to. I mean, you can pick it. You can make the Bible say whatever the fuck you want it to say.
It's so true.
So I mean, that's the real truth of the matter. Mm-hmm. So
David and all the people of Israel brought up the ark of the Lord with shouts of joy and the blowing of ram's horns. But as the ark of the Lord entered the city of David, Michal, the daughter of Saul, looked down from her window. When she saw King David leaping and dancing before the Lord, she was filled with contempt for him.
Why?
I don't know.
It's interesting.
I don't understand.
I don't either.
Why is she mad at him?
That God was, God.
Yeah.
So why would anybody be mad that he's trying to appease and please God?
I mean, basically he's dancing on, please don't be mad at me.
Right? Yeah.
I love you so fucking much, God.
Maybe he didn't do any of that dancing and stuff to her. Maybe he just slaps her around and says, cook me some dinner. And she's like, fuck you. Look at all that shit you're doing for that God guy. And then you're not doing shit for me.
And then you're like, woman, make me a sandwich.
Right, yeah.
They brought the ark of the Lord and set it in its place inside the special tent David had prepared for it.
Okay.
They pitched a tent. And David sacrificed burnt offerings and peace offerings to the Lord.
I thought that the only, according to, was it Exodus or what was it? Or maybe it was Leviticus, when they were building the ark or whatever, right? Mm-hmm. I thought that the only place that the ark was supposed to be housed was in the tabernacle.
The tabernacle.
Yeah, there it is. But that was specifically the only place it was supposed to be housed. Mm-hmm. And now it's in people's houses, and they're building the tents.
Okay, wait. Maybe it's still in the tabernacle, and then the tabernacle is inside the house and the tent and the garage and the living room.
I call bullshit, because the fucking tabernacle was like a place of worship, just about. So,
right.
I don't think that's the case. But again, they haven't specifically said not, but I would think that the tabernacle would get a mention if it was there.
True, but
because it was a pretty big fucking deal.
But they were traveling with the tabernacle. That leads me to believe that the tabernacle is movable. Therefore, being movable, it probably can fit inside. Like, when they say tent, I don't think they mean like a backyard little, camper tent. I think that they mean like a housey tent.
But still, I think the tabernacle would get a mention.
Maybe not.
I'm just,
I mean, they don't...
I would like to know what happened to the tabernacle.
They don't always say the obvious things.
But I
you know what I mean?
I want to know what happened.
Like, if we say I went to my room, we don't specifically say I went into my house, into my bedroom of the house. You know what I mean?
Right, but how many times did they say tabernacle in that section?
They did when it was important.
So it's not important anymore?
It's not important anymore.
Okay.
It's probably just, like, part of it. Old hat. They also haven't mentioned the fucking pomegranates in ages.
All right.
When he had finished his sacrifices, David blessed the people in the name of the Lord of heaven's armies. Then he gave to every Israelite man and woman in the crowd a loaf of bread, a cake of dates, and a cake of raisins.
Well, that was nice.
Then all the people returned to their homes.
Okay.
Okay?
Yep.
When David returned home to bless his own family, Michal, the daughter of Saul, came out to meet him. Okay, I think we're going to find out why she's mad.
Okay.
Okay, I'm really excited about this. She said in disgust, "How distinguished the king of Israel looked today, shamelessly exposing himself to the servant girls like any vulgar person might do."
Oh, wow.
Oh, she jealous.
I mean...
He must have been a good-ass dancer.
Okay, look, he already had all these kids. He's married to how many women?
And she's mad because he's dancing.
Right?
Not because he's fucking 1,000 women and married and having babies.
Right, yeah.
Because he danced for God.
Yeah. Maybe she's just expressing some pent-up resentment.
That's what I think.
Over the other,
yeah,
women that he's married / slept with and everything, so.
She's not really mad he was dancing for God.
Because it looks like he might, I mean, based on the dancing bit and how mad she was, maybe he's thinking of expanding that harem that he's got going on.
Yeah,
So.
yeah. David retorted to Michal, I was dancing before the Lord who chose me above your family and all his family. Hello? He appointed me as the leader of Israel, the people of the Lord, so I celebrate before the Lord. Yes, I'm willing to look even more foolish than this, even to be humiliated in my own eyes. But those servant girls you mentioned, all indeed think I am distinguished.
Oh.
That was not
smart. The right way to say that.
That is not how you make your woman feel better.
Yeah, no.
Like,
Nope. That's not good, dude.
I'm glad that you know that. Like, if I see you talking to a bunch of waitresses or something, not that that's ever happened in the history of ever.
Right.
But if I did and I came up to you and I was like, I saw you talking with all those fucking waitresses, asshole. Yeah. You wouldn't be like, yeah, because they liked my ass. That's why. Like, no, that's stupid. What you do if you're trying to, like, be an understanding nice guy is be like, okay, clearly she's feeling insecure.
Right.
So it is my job, if I want to smooth shit over, to be understanding of her insecurity and to reassure her and be like, oh, honey, those waitresses are ugly or stupid, or no, actually, I was trying to settle the bill because they charged me $500 billion trillion more than I expected.
Yeah.
And I thought if I did a little flirty or something, they might lower the bill.
Sure.
But no, I'm not going home with any of them ever, ever, ever. I don't even want to kiss them because they're gross and also COVID. I'm coming home to you, my love.
Right.
Like, just reassure.
Yep.
You know? So Michal, the daughter of Saul, remained childless throughout her entire life. The end.
What the everlasting fuck?
Okay, sometimes I love the way I read this, if I may pat my own self on the back.
It's just okay, well, I mean, but seriously though, like, you
does that mean that he didn't ever fuck her? Does that mean that he fucked her but she was barren? Does that mean that God didn't like the way she was going off and so he was like, no baby for you?
Well, obviously, it's to show that he was right and she was wrong. Mm-hmm. He has the favor of God, and God's punishing her by not having babies or something. Right.
But what I want to know is, were the babies withheld by God or by David?
No, it would matter, definitely, for sure.
Because if he didn't fuck her, then that's why she didn't have babies.
Right.
But if he...
Sounds like he didn't care much about hurting her feelings, so...
Which is rude. She was the first one that ever truly loved him.
And saved his ass, really.
And saved his ass. She and her brother Jonathan, remember?
Yeah.
That's why He's mad because Jonathan's dead, and that was his real love.
Mm.
He was like, I didn't really want you, Michael. I wanted your brother Jonathan.
Well, also, she saved him by putting, letting him escape and stuff.
Yeah.
And maybe he's resentful that somebody other than God saved him.
Right. And not only
You know?
that, but a piece of shit woman.
Right.
Like, no man wants to be saved by a woman.
Maybe that was degrading to him.
Probably was, because men are fucking stupid like that.
Yeah, no, I agree.
They have teeny tiny egos stuck in the, pits of their dicks. Oh, did a girl help you? Oh, you're so small.
Yeah, so on that note, that was 2 Samuel chapter 6, right?
And tomorrow we will be back for 2 Samuel chapter 7, and I'll try to be less pissy.
All right, we'll see you guys then.
Bye. Husband!
Wife!
Do you remember what happened yesterday?
I remember that some dude tried to steady the ark when the oxen tried to tip it over, and then that God was
Nope.
dead. And maybe he punched him in the nuts because he's invisible on the throne. I don't know.
I think that wasn't probably the important part you were supposed to remember.
But that's what I remembered.
That did happen, but the part you're supposed to remember, I think, is that David got all dancy and stuff and was like, I don't mind looking the fool for the Lord.
Right.
And Michael was like, you never look the fool for me.
Right.
And then he was like, you jealous? And she was like, goddamn right I am. So God was like, boom, barren, bitch.
Yeah. Yeah, that was good stuff, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. God's such a nice guy.
Mm-hmm. But it didn't sound like David was very appreciative of all that Michael had done for him.
Not even a little bit.
So, fuck God, fuck David, the end.
Right. So that was 2 Samuel chapter
6.
And today we are doing
2 Samuel chapter 7.
All right, let's go read it.
Okie dokie. Okay, well, before I jump in, first, I just want to say we are recording this on the night of July 4th, which is American Independence Day, and there are fireworks going off all around town, so apologies in advance if you hear firecrackers and shit like that in the background. We are not partaking.
And also on a more somber note, there was another mass shooting today.
There was. I did hear that the guy who did done it was captured, or not that he was captured so much as that he turned himself in, so that's great.
Right, and this isn't news, and this is nothing that we know for sure, but we did see some pictures of him wrapped in Trump flags. So
right.
There's that.
Also, he's really weird looking, and apparently he's a rapper. I don't know.
Not that has anything to do with anything exactly.
No.
But that in conjunction with the Trump flags could mean a lot of things.
No, none of those things alone is necessarily indicative of anything. It's all together.
Right.
He's a rapper and a Trumper and a white guy and a weird looking motherfucker.
And he likes guns, apparently.
Right.
I mean,
yeah.
and
Well,
killing people.
We don't know what the motive or anything was, but I think we can all imagine that it was nothing good.
Right. Yeah. So anyway, I just thought I'd mention that since, we did a special on the guns recently.
Yeah,
and,
we did.
It just keeps happening.
And here we are.
Yep. Okay. All right, sorry. Now on with the Bible.
Right. God's covenant with David. That seems appropriate.
Yeah.
Okay. When King David, the dancer, was settled in his palace, and the Lord had given him rest from
Wait, did they call him the dancer?
No.
Oh, you threw that in there.
I threw that in there.
Okay, no, I thought that's a neat way to refer to him, I guess.
Dancing David?
Yeah, Dancing David.
Yeah, when King Dancing David had settled in his palace, and the Lord had given him rest from all the surrounding enemies, not that they had won, the Lord gave him rest.
Right.
The king summoned Nathan the prophet. You know Nathan the prophet, right?
No, I don't.
Well, there's this guy named Nathan, and he's a prophet.
Okay.
And he called him.
Yeah.
Look, David said, I am living in a beautiful cedar palace, but the Ark of God is out there in a tent.
Yeah. Why should I be living in a palace and that thing only gets a tent? It's an inanimate object with important shit on it. So.
Right. I could totally carry it in, but
right.
I'm not going to. I'm just going to sit in here and bitch on Twitter.
I mean, some dude died on the way here when he touched it, so I don't really want it next to me, but so am I supposed to leave it out there? Can I bring it in? Should I bring it in?
Yeah, I guess.
Am I going to die? Will you touch it before I touch it?
This is probably more of like a Facebook post than a Twitter post. You're right.
Right.
Nathan replied to the king, "Go ahead and do whatever you have in mind, for the Lord is with you."
No matter what, huh?
I guess.
I
He's
mean,
like, it sounded to me like Nathan the prophet is like, "You do you, boo."
right?
I'm out. But that same night, the Lord said to Nathan, "Go and tell my servant David, this is what the Lord has declared.
Oh.
Are you the one to build a house for me to live in? I have never lived in a house from the day I brought the Israelites out of Egypt until this very day."
Wait, hold on. That's not entirely true. They literally said that the tabernacle is the place where the Lord lives.
Mm-hmm. But that's
And
not
now,
a house.
Okay, but it's a tent. It's okay.
A tabernacle is not a house.
All right, fair enough.
It's a big tent.
But okay.
It's a fancy tent.
All right.
It's nicer probably than any house we ever lived in, but it's still a tent.
All right, fine.
I have always moved from one place to another with a tent and a tabernacle as my dwelling.
Okay. Fair enough. Fair enough.
You should have let me finish.
I should have let you finish.
Yet, no matter where I've gone with the Israelites, I have never once complained to Israel's tribal leaders, the shepherds of my people Israel. I have never asked them, "Why haven't you built me a beautiful cedar house?"
That is true. He has never asked that.
He's never asked that. He has smote a lot of motherfuckers, but he has never asked for a house.
Especially a cedar one.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, go and say to my servant David, this is what the Lord of heaven's armies has declared.
So just to be clear, you want to stay in the tent? That's correct?
That's what it sounded like,
going
but
with here?
he's about to finish his
Okay,
sentence. I don't
right.
know. I took you from tending sheep in the pasture and selected you to be the leader of my people Israel. I have been with you wherever you have gone, and I have destroyed all your enemies before your eyes. Now I will make your name as famous as anyone who has ever lived on the earth, and I will provide a homeland for my people Israel, planting them in a secure place where they will never be disturbed. Evil nations won't oppress them as they've done in the past, starting from the time I appointed judges to rule my people Israel. And I will give you rest from all your enemies. Furthermore...
For how long?
Furthermore...
Okay.
It's not specified.
All right.
Furthermore, the Lord declares that he will make a house for you, a dynasty of kings. For when you die and are buried with your ancestors, I will raise up one of your descendants. It's Jesus.
No.
Your own offspring, one of your descendants, your own offspring, and I will make his kingdom strong.
Oh, so he doesn't say how many... so this is where the prophecy maybe kind of comes from or something?
This is Nathan's prophecy, yeah.
Ah.
Yeah.
But it doesn't specify how many, generations down the road it's going to happen. Just one of his descendants.
Mm-hmm.
So
he is the one who will build a house, a temple, for my name, and I will secure his royal throne forever. I will be his father, and he will be my son.
Oh, wow.
If he sins, I will correct and discipline him with the rod like any father would do. I'm going to beat that motherfucker on a cross.
Right, yeah.
But my favor will not be taken from him as I took it from Saul, whom I removed from your sight. Your house and your kingdom will continue before me for all time, and your throne will be secure forever.
That's a hell of a prophecy.
Right?
That's some strong shit right there.
Well, he's saying, I don't want a fucking house. One day, one of your descendants is going to build me a whole fucking nation house.
Sounds to me, because I know that there was a lot of, possible prophets back in Jesus' time.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds to me like this bit in the Bible right here.
Got added
Everyone's
in.
like, well, no. But it sounds like they took this bit and they're like, dude, that sounds like a pretty good deal. I could be the son of God.
Yeah,
I think I'm related to David. Dude, I'm gonna go take this shit.
Mary, aren't you related to King David?
Right. Let's make this sound good, guys.
And Mary's like, you know what? I just found out last night. Oops, I got knocked up.
Right. Yeah.
And it wasn't Joseph's.
Yeah. So definitely, if we just make it sound like this is just God.
This is definitely Jesus's.
Right.
This is Jesus.
Yeah.
Totes. Yeah. I did not fuck around.
I'm just saying, this. Obviously, people took this part of the Bible pretty seriously back then.
Nothing else out of it, but yeah, they got that one.
And then it turned into a whole other fucking type of religion, essentially. Mm-hmm. Crazy.
So Nathan went back to David and told him everything the Lord had said in this vision. So King David's like, I don't give a shit about all that Jesus-y future stuff. I just wanted to know if I should build him a house.
Right? Yeah.
Cool. Then King David went in and sat before the Lord and prayed, "Who am I, O sovereign Lord, and what is my family that you have brought me this far?" And now, sovereign Lord, in addition to everything else, you speak of giving your servant a lasting dynasty? Do you deal with everyone this way, O sovereign Lord?
No.
No, he doesn't. Didn't you see all the smiting he did? What more can I say to you? God, you know what your servant is really like, sovereign Lord. Because of your promise and according to your will, you have done all these great things and have made them known to your servant. How great are you? You are. How great you are.
How great you are. Yeah.
How great you are. O sovereign Lord.
Sovereign Lord. He's saying that a lot.
Sovereign Lord.
Sovereign Lord.
There is no one like you. We have never even heard of another God like you. I call bullshit on that one.
Yeah.
What other nation on earth is like your people Israel? What other nation, O God, have you redeemed from slavery to be your own people? You made a great name for yourself when you redeemed your people from Egypt. I mean, did he, though?
I don't know. They didn't really, indicate that they thought that very much. And even still, I think there's still some wishy-washiness going on.
There's a lot of wishy-washy.
I'm just saying.
Yeah. You performed, this is David still talking to God.
Yeah, okay.
You performed awesome miracles and drove out the nations and gods that stood in their way.
Wait, are these miracles like the ones where he goes before them and kills the armies when he doesn't actually go before them and kill the armies?
Well, that, and he also, parted the sea. And,
okay.
He made Moses have water out of a stone.
All right, and manna and all that kind of crap.
Manna and shit.
Sure.
You made Israel your very own people forever, and you, O Lord, became their God.
Do you remember when he was ready to give them up, nothing?
Yeah.
He was like, you guys kind of suck.
And Moses was like, wait.
Yeah, Moses begged him to keep them.
Yeah.
And he was like, I think these people suck.
Because they did.
Yeah.
Let's be clear.
I'm just saying, he's giving them an awful lot of praise here, but he was ready to ditch them.
And David didn't know. David wasn't there.
I guess, but, it's in the book of,
Well, we
whatever.
have the luxury of reading back
Moses.
over this. No, it wasn't the book of Moses, just the first 5 books, right?
Right,
so this
but Moses
shit hasn't been written down
But Moses, yet. Right, but technically, the book of Moses was already written, because it was by the tabernacle.
So he could have...
And Moses did talk to God and try to keep him from smiting all of Israel and leading them.
Right, but the book of instruction is inside the ark.
Right,
it's
but don't you think that oral histories would be handed down?
It's not like David got to read all the juicy bits that we get to read now.
Well, okay.
I'm just saying.
All right.
And now, continued David to God, O Lord God, I am your servant. Do as you have promised concerning me and my family. Confirm it as a promise that will last forever. Confirm it. I mean, if God tells you something, don't you just be like, cool.
I mean, I don't know. He changes his mind an awful lot. I might want a little bit more.
Are you going to challenge this motherfucker that smites people willy-nilly? Or are you just going to be like, sure, okay, yeah.
I mean, David seems to be in pretty good standing with God.
He has nice hair.
According to what they're saying. So.
He has nice hair.
Yeah, well.
David with the good hair and the dancey feet.
I didn't think he was one of the good ones with good hair.
They all have good hair.
Well, but I thought specifically it was Saul and Samuel.
It was Samuel with the good hair and David with the dancing feet.
Okay.
Anyway, David continues, and may your name be honored forever so that everyone will say, the Lord of Heaven's armies is God over Israel.
Yeah.
And may the house of your servant David continue before you forever. O Lord of Heaven's... This is a long-ass prayer. O Lord of Heaven's armies, God of Israel, I have been bold enough to pray this prayer to you because you have revealed all this to your servant, saying, I will build a house for you, a dynasty of kings.
Technically, wasn't he told this by Nathan the prophet?
Uh-huh.
So, he heard this prophecy secondhand from somebody else who, as far as we know, could just be blowing smoke up this dude's ass.
Yeah, has never been mentioned before.
I'm just saying,
right.
Why do they trust these other people that are prophets?
Well, if somebody is dubbed a prophet, I'm going to assume that they did other prophetizing things that made them have that name.
But do you think that no prophet ever abused their position?
Oh, I'm sure they did. But as long as they were still on the side of God and their prophecies came true, then, they were deemed good.
Right, but, you got a new king, right? Mm-hmm. And he's like,
Tell me what's up.
Yeah,
Tell me the news.
And he's, killing people that are doing things he doesn't want them to do. Wouldn't you be like, I'm going to tell this guy some really good shit about himself. Because he's going to like that.
And then he might not kill me.
He might not kill me. And he might think highly of me after this. Yeah.
And so David is like, I like what I hear. I'm going to go pray goodness. Yay, thanks.
And there's also no way you can prove this prophecy wrong because it's down the line,
Exactly.
Whatever. I don't have to worry about it.
Exactly. So David is down on his knees saying, that thing that I heard from that dude Nathan?
Yeah.
This is cool. Thank you, man.
Yeah.
For you are God, O sovereign Lord.
Yeah.
You are God.
Right.
Your words are truth, and you have promised these good things to your servant. And now, may it please you to bless the house of your servant, so that it may continue forever before you. For you have spoken, and when you grant a blessing to your servant, O sovereign Lord, it is an eternal blessing. The end.
But God never actually spoke to him.
Right.
He spoke to Nathan.
Yeah.
So, I mean, maybe he'll speak to him in the next chapter, but technically he never actually spoke to David about this whole thing.
But David believes Nathan because...
Right, I get it. But this is a big deal, man. Like, you're not going to just, like...
Well, he's not going to be like Saul and go visit the fucking Witch of Endor.
Right.
He's believing in what he thinks is God's person.
All right, fine.
I mean, it's not like he's just believing some bitch off the street,
Right, I mean, it's an actual quote-unquote prophet. So
right,
whatever,
it's somebody who is believed to be a godly person who speaks of God.
Right.
So,
just,
it's not like his brother came and told him this and...
It's true.
It's out of the blue.
Yeah. All right. Fair enough. So...
I mean, now you're putting me in the position of fucking defending a goddamn prophet. Really?
No,
Thanks for that.
I just don't know that I would trust a secondhand message, even if it was a prophet. That's all.
Okay, but you are not in the position to ever believe a prophet ever anyway.
Well, that's true. That's very true.
Like, this guy is back then where if somebody is deemed a prophet, they are to be trusted.
I suppose you could look at it like a weatherman, right?
Right.
Like a weatherman is going to be right a lot of the time, but not all the time.
Yeah.
So but enough that you trust that if he says it's going to rain tomorrow, it might rain tomorrow.
And if he says that a tornado's coming and they set off the fucking alarm,
right? You're going to go down in the basement, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
All right. We'll look at the prophets as weathermen then, I guess.
Like, maybe 1,000 years from now, people will be like, how the fuck did those people trust weathermen? That makes no damn sense.
Yeah.
It's like they treated them like prophets or something. See what I'm saying?
Right. All right. Well, that was 2 Samuel chapter 7.
Yes.
And tomorrow we will be doing...
2 Samuel chapter 8.
All right. We'll see you guys tomorrow.
Bye. Husband.
Wife.
Do you remember what happened yesterday?
Some dude named Nathan did a prophecy for David and told him that his family's like kick-ass and shit.
Right.
Is that basically the gist of it?
Well, I mean, there was a little more. Like, David was like, we should build a house for the tabernacle or bring that shit inside my house or something. And
right.
Nathan told David that God was like, I don't need a fucking house. What the fuck's wrong with you?
Right.
And then David did a lot of praying and was like, God is great. God is good. Let us thank him for the food. Amen. And it was like...
Yeah. Okay. All right.
So that
was last chapter.
Yeah.
That was 2 Samuel chapter
7.
And today we're going to be getting into 2 Samuel chapter
8.
Okay, but before we do that, we got a letter from a fan of ours on our website, and we didn't ask permission to read this, so we're going to do this as an anonymous reading, but we thought the letter was just really pertinent to read and beautiful, so we are going to share it, and I hope you guys take it the same way we did. It's just really great.
It really touched my heart the way it was written, and I might be adding some literal or literary license to it, but it really struck me as poetic, and so that's the way I'm reading it. And apologies to the writer if I'm doing it any misjustice or injustice, because I just thought it was so beautiful.
Right.
And it really touched me, so I have to read it the way I took it in my heart.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
I am rudely taking your podcast name overly... Let me start over. Oh, I want to do this right because it's just so good, you guys. I am rudely taking your podcast name overly literally as a conversation. I don't want anything, just to talk to someone, and I am picking you. Twitter has suspended me permanently. No reason given, but like with God, I must have been bad. Facebook sucks, and people-wise, so do I. But I needed to say, after normal mass shootings, I'm angry, scared, numb. But after reading of the little boy whose parents were murdered, I just cried, and cried even more when I saw that people were donating to help a little. It is no wonder people want a big daddy to take away their pain. But it fucks me off knowing that it is mainly those who claim there is a big daddy who are causing the death culture. Please don't get back to me, but keep doing what you do, so people don't become Pontius Pilates and figuratively wash their hands of these deaths with thoughts and prayer. I very much appreciate what you do, and am just a little in awe of your courage and commitment.
That was, that was a really great thing to receive. We were actually at your parents' house tonight getting a sermon from your mother at the dinner table when that came through.
It was such a touching thing to read right when I kind of needed it.
Yeah, no, I mean, you literally spent all last night up because of the whole shooting and everything else, just everything that's going wrong with the country right now and what have you. So
yeah, so I want to say thank you to the person who took the time to write this, and I want to tell you, I feel the way you feel. You're not alone. I think we all feel this way, and I'm just going to leave it there because I'm coming to tears now, and I don't want to cry. This was a beautiful, beautiful email to receive. Thank you.
Yeah, definitely. All right, now we're going to go into 2 Samuel chapter 8. All right.
Okay, 2 Samuel chapter 8.
All right.
David extends his kingdom.
Is he going to extend it?
He's extending it.
That's what's happening, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
After this?
The
prayer of
the prayer, that's right.
God is awesome and wonderful and spectacular.
Got it, yeah.
David defeated and subdued the Philistines by conquering Gath.
Subdued. What exactly does subdue mean?
I mean...
He got them all in arm bars and, they're all on the ground you're subdued, motherfucker.
He got them to stop fighting, and then he conquered them.
Okay.
Gath, their largest town.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
David also conquered the land of Moab.
Nice. I thought that... Okay, all right.
He made the people lie down on the ground in a row. Yeah, he subdued them.
Yeah.
And he measured them off in groups with a length of rope.
Okay.
He measured off 2 groups to be executed for every 1 group to be spared.
Damn.
What a motherfucker.
Right?
The Moabites were spared. The Moabites who were spared, became David's subjects and paid him tribute money. So he took them over and then taxed the fuck out of them.
Hi, we just killed all of your friends and family, but now you owe us money too.
Pay up, bitches.
And also don't rebel, because then we'll kill you too.
Right. David also destroyed the forces of Hadadezer, son of Rehab. I was trying to say Rehab and Rohab at the same time, and it's neither. It's Rehab.
Rehab, okay.
King of Zobah, when Hadadezer marched out to strengthen his control along the Euphrates River.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
So he kicked those asses.
Yeah.
David captured 1,000 chariots, 7,000 charioteers, and 20,000 foot soldiers.
Soldiers. You're having trouble with talking tonight.
I am having problems.
Yeah.
Foot soldiers.
Okay, got it.
He crippled all the chariot horses because the horses
Why would you do that? What the fuck?
They were very evil, bad horses.
He kept the people, because he said 7,000 charioteers, right? Mm-hmm. But he crippled the fucking horses? I mean, the horses would be, easier to retrain than the charioteers.
Sure. Yep.
Okay.
He crippled all the chariot horses except enough for 100 chariots.
I don't understand.
I don't
That
either.
makes no fucking sense.
I would never cripple a horse, and I don't even fucking
There's
like
no
horses.
fucking reason for it.
No. When Arameans from Damascus arrived to help King Hadadezer, David killed 22,000 of them.
Jesus.
What a murderous fuck.
Well, I mean, they were fighting each other, so I guess, but you know. Right.
Then he placed several army garrisons in Damascus, the Aramean capital, And the Arameans became David's subject and paid him tribute money, too.
So he's collecting taxes all over the fucking place, huh?
Sounds like America. I mean, isn't that what we do, right?
Well, I mean, something's got to keep the, shit running. It's not running real well right now, I'll grant you, but, you can't not pay taxes.
Oh, I'm not saying, like, the mean people have to pay taxes, but then we go out and we, like, quote-unquote conquer other little peoples and make them pay taxes, but they don't get a vote.
Yeah.
Like Puerto Rico, say,
okay.
or,
right.
Isn't the island of Guam another of our little territories that, we fuck over and...
Yep.
Yeah.
You got
See?
it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So the Lord made David victorious wherever he went. Yeah, the Lord did.
Mm-hmm.
David brought the gold shields of Hadadezer's officers. Not offices. They didn't have offices
back
then.
Thinking like cubicle with a...
desk and fax machine and whatnot. David brought the gold shields of Hadadezer's officers to Jerusalem, along with a large amount of bronze from Hadadezer's towns of Teba and Berothai.
I have to say this because gold is actually a pretty soft metal.
Mm-hmm.
A gold shield would be only sort of functional. Like, I mean, yes, it would work.
And
but
heavy.
Yeah, but like if it got struck, it would bend like easily. So.
Well, I'm imagining like if you had a shield of Play-Doh, maybe you get stabbed, but
Play-Doh?
like the sword gets stuck in the shield, and you're trying to like pull it out.
Right. Yeah.
When King Toi, T-O-I.
Toy. Sure.
Toi.
Toy. Let's just go with toy.
Okay. Well, I just didn't want to say toy because that sounded silly.
Whatever.
When King Toi of Hamath heard that David had destroyed the entire army of Hadadezer, he sent his son Joram to congratulate King David for his successful campaign.
I wonder if this is a good idea or not.
Probably
not.
not. Because David does not like messengers.
Yeah, he doesn't. He doesn't like foreigners very much either.
Right. Hadadezer and Toi had been enemies and were often at war. Joram presented David with many gifts of silver, gold, and bronze.
Well, that'll do some,
That might help.
Well,
he might take all your shit and kill you anyway, though.
Yeah.
King David dedicated all these gifts to the Lord, as he did with the silver and gold from the other nations he had defeated.
Okay.
From Edom, Moab, Ammon, Philistia, and Amalek.
Okay.
And from Hadadezer, son of Rehob, king of Zobah. Jesus, that's a mouthful. So David became even more famous when he returned from destroying 18,000 Edomites in the Valley of Salt.
Wow.
He placed army garrisons throughout Edom, and all the Edomites became David's subjects.
So he's creating a military like stronghold everywhere.
He's being like Rome and just spreading out.
Yeah.
In fact, the Lord made David victorious wherever he went.
Of course he did.
Yeah. David is the shit or whatever.
Right.
But he's a dick, remember? We remember that he's a dick.
I remember.
Okay, next section. David's officers.
Okay.
They get
Do they have
own
gold shields?
They must. They took them all, right?
Well, I mean, maybe they just got the gold.
So David reigned over all Israel and did what was just and right for all his people. Joab, son of Zeruiah, was commander of the army. Jehoshaphat, son of Ahilud, was the royal historian.
Ooh, they got a historian.
Mm-hmm. Zadok, son of Ahitub, and Ahimelech, son of Abiathar, were the priests. Sariah was the court secretary.
Okay, so this is like minutes.
This is offices.
Right. Yeah.
I was wrong. They did have cubicles and desks. Benaiah, son of Jehoiada, I'm really sorry, you guys.
Yeah, names.
Was captain of the king's bodyguard. And David's son served as priestly leaders. The end.
Okay.
And that was that.
That they killed a lot of people. They took over a lot of land. They set up some garrisons, and then they have secretaries and shit.
They made offices. Yep, that pretty much sums up that chapter.
Okay, all right. So that was a real simple,
straightforward.
That pretty much is what it
killed
is.
People and moved in our deaths.
It seems like the way this whole Second Samuel book so far has been pretty straightforward. Like, yep, David's winning, and then he still wins, and he's king again, and he's all these things again, and
God loves him. He loves God.
Yeah, God loves the fuck out of this guy, man.
Yeah,
he's Him and God, they're tight, man.
They are so tight.
Mm-hmm.
Don't come between David and God, y'all. And don't ever be a messenger.
Right. Well, unless you bring silver and gold.
Right. And
Then
congratulations.
just don't bring heads. That's not a... No.
Don't bring heads and... Yeah, don't take it upon yourself to murder somebody else.
Right.
Just be like, you're awesome, I love you, here is prizes.
You know, I have to say this real quick. Mm-hmm. We never know how to end a fucking podcast. We're at the end of our podcast, and we always ramble on about all kinds of stuff, and we're like... And then we're like, how do we end it? And then we're just like, we kind of look at each other, and we're like...
and done.
And done.
Husband.
Wife.
Do you remember what happened yesterday?
It was David's killing people and then hiring a secretary.
Basically, yeah, but don't forget that he maimed horses, too.
Oh, yeah, that was right.
For no reason.
Yeah, that was stupid.
I agree.
Like, I mean, you could... you own them. Like, why would you maim them?
I have no
That's
idea,
dumb.
But apparently I'm reading the Bible with an agenda and I can't possibly understand, so...
Right.
I don't know.
Right.
I think it was a dumb plan.
It was a dumb plan.
The fuck do I know?
Right? So, anyway, that was a short chapter, and that was 2 Samuel chapter 8. And today we are doing...
2 Samuel chapter 9.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, let's do it.
Okay, 2 Samuel chapter 9.
All right.
David's kindness to Mephibosheth.
I'm always kind of Mephibosheth.
You are.
Yeah.
I'm feeling very Mephibosheth today.
Is that what you're feeling?
Yeah, yeah. So one day, David asked, is anyone in Saul's family still alive? Anyone to whom I can show kindness for Jonathan's sake?
Because even Saul's a prophet. Is even Saul a prophet?
Is even Saul a prophet?
Right.
But he wants to show them kindness for Jonathan's sake.
Oh, okay.
Like, yeah, your fucking wife, Michael, asshole.
Right. she's still alive.
Yes, and you're mean to her.
Right.
Dumbo.
Yeah.
He summoned a man named Ziba, who had been one of Saul's servants. Are you Ziba? The king asked. Yes, sir, I am, Ziba replied. The king then asked him, hey, is anyone still alive from Saul's family? If so, I want to show God's kindness to them.
Aside from my wife, because fuck her.
Yeah, fuck Michael all the way to Mars. Ziba replied, yes, one of Jonathan's sons is still alive. He is crippled in both feet. Is that the one that they dropped?
Yeah, they dropped his ass.
They dropped him and crippled him.
Okay.
Okay.
So there is a reason they mentioned them, I guess.
In parentheses voice.
Right, yeah.
Like 2 chapters ago.
Yeah, they're like, we're going to mention this guy later.
Keep paying attention to him. Keep his name in the back of your
Happen.
mind. Wink,
yeah.
wink, wink, wink. Where is he? The king asked. In Lo-Debar, you know.
Yeah.
Ziba told him. At the home of Machir, son of Amiel.
You know, that guy.
That guy. So David sent for him and brought him from Machir's home. His name was Mephibosheth. He was Jonathan's son and Saul's grandson.
Okay.
And let us not ever forget that David and Jonathan were madly in love, and that's why he wants to know if any of Jonathan's family is still alive.
Didn't they take the kid and run because David was killing people from Saul's group?
No.
Oh.
That happened way before.
Okay. All right.
That was just an aside.
Okay. All right.
It had nothing to do with David.
Got it.
When he came to David, he bowed low to the ground in deep respect. Probably because he was scared he would,
die.
Am I a messenger?
Yeah. I'm about to lose my head here.
David does not like messengers.
Lose my head. Sorry.
Lose your head. Okay.
Yeah.
David said, greetings, Mephibosheth. Mephibosheth replied.
Yeah.
I am your servant.
Of course he did.
Don't be afraid, David said.
No, do be afraid.
Right. I have been reading about you.
Right.
And, dude,
you're not always nice, dude.
You are not a nice guy.
And you just never know.
But I intend to show kindness to you because of my promise to your father Jonathan.
Okay.
And also, wife added, because I loved him deeply.
Yeah.
It said they had an intimate relationship.
It did.
And I know what I think when I say the word intimate.
I know what you think when you say intimate relationship, too.
I will give you all the property that once belonged to your grandfather Saul, and you will eat here with me at the king's table.
That's nice.
Mephibosheth bowed respectfully and exclaimed, "Who is your servant that you should show such kindness to a dead dog like me?"
A dead dog.
You dead dog.
The hell?
That's what I'm going to call you.
I wonder if dead dog is like a term that they would have used for somebody who was, crippled in the Bronze or Iron Age. Or
I don't know. But next time I'm pissed off at you, I'm going to call you a dead dog.
Are you?
You dead dog.
Yeah.
Then the king summoned Saul's servant Ziba and said, "I have given your master's grandson everything that belonged to Saul and his family. You and your sons and servants are to farm the land for him, to produce food for your master's household. But Mephibosheth, your master's grandson, will eat here at my table." Okay, parentheses voice, ready?
Okay, yep.
Ziba had 15 sons and 20 servants.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
Ziba replied, "Yes, my lord the king, I am your servant, and I will do all that you have commanded." And from that time on, Mephibosheth ate regularly at David's table like one of the king's own sons.
So hold on a second. Just he sent other people to go work this guy's land for him, and he just ate with the king all the time.
Yeah.
So, like, he didn't have to do anything. He was just wealthy.
Yeah.
And then also got free food
Yeah.
and shit. And, like, lodging at that place maybe or something.
Yeah.
Wow. It's a good deal.
That is a good deal.
You don't even have to do shit. You just, yep, I'm rich over there.
I'm rich over there.
Okay.
Mephibosheth had a young son named Micah.
Okay.
From then on, all the members of Ziba's household were Mephibosheth's servants. And Mephibosheth, who was crippled in both feet, lived in Jerusalem and ate regularly at the king's table, which is literally the fucking sentence that we just read.
Right. Yeah.
The end.
Okay, so Jonathan's son eats at David's table, and he has Saul's land now, and everything's good and wonderful and rosy.
Isn't it grand?
Yeah.
It is grand.
That I have land.
Nice. Well done.
Yeah. All right, so that was Second Samuel, chapter 9.
Sickening Samuel, chapter 9.
And tomorrow we will be doing
Sickening Samuel, chapter 10.
Sorry, this was sickeningly short, but that's it.
That's it. That's all we got.
All right, we'll see you guys later.
Bye. Husband.
Wife.
Do you remember what happened yesterday?
No.
Wow.
Sorry.
You just came right out with it.
I remember it was really fucking short.
It was really fucking short.
It was,
and David was like, "Oh, I wonder if any of Saul's people are still alive."
Oh, that's right.
Besides my wife, Michael, whom
right? That's
I
so
don't
fucked
like.
up. I'm like, your wife. Your wife.
Your wife.
The fuck?
But no. Jonathan's son, Mephibosheth.
Yeah.
Who was dropped when he was a child and became crippled.
I feel like that should be like a verb or something.
Right?
Mephibosheth.
He's alive.
Duh. Yeah.
I totally Mephibosheth that.
Yeah. It could be like getting dropped,
Yeah.
And you drop your coffee, I'm Mephibosheth it.
Damn it. Mephibosheth that again, didn't I? And so now Mephibosheth.
He's got a lot of land now and shit, and like people working it for him, and he's eating at the king's table.
That's all that happened.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. So that was 2 Samuel chapter 9.
Correct.
And today we are doing what?
2 Samuel chapter 10.
Let's go read this shit.
Okay. Second Samuel chapter 10. The defeat of the Ammonites and Syrians.
They get defeated.
Okay. It's going to be defeating for them.
Yeah.
Sometime after this,
when Mephibosheth got his land and ate at the king's table, huh?
Yeah, sometime after that, King Nahash of the Ammonites died.
Yeah, as people do in this book.
As they do. And his son Hanan became king.
Not Hodor.
Hold the door. David said, "I'm going to show loyalty to Hanan, just as his father Nahash was loyal to me."
Okay.
Loyal.
Yeah.
I had a hard time with that.
Yeah.
So, He's going to go do that.
Yeah.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So David sent ambassadors to express sympathy to Hanan about his father's death.
That was nice.
It was nice, and it's a good thing that it didn't happen the other way, because you just never know what would have happened to those ambassadors.
Right.
Since David is not keen on them.
I mean, like we said, he's only keen if you bring him ahead.
No, he's only not keen if you bring him ahead.
Well, yeah, that's what I meant.
Yeah.
Sorry.
But when David's ambassadors arrived in the land of Ammon, the Ammonite commander said to Hanan, their master, "Do you really think these men are coming here to honor your father? No! David has sent them to spy out the city so they can come and conquer it."
I mean, he is conquering a lot of fucking people.
Yeah, like...
So, like, I don't completely begrudge them for thinking that.
No, he literally... We just got done reading about how his kingdom expanded.
But the shitty thing is, and I'm just guessing here, but the shitty thing to me is that he's probably going to be like, "How dare you question my intents, and now I shall conquer you."
Right.
And it will justify him conquering them, even though. And it's like, fuck you, man. That's dumb.
You could just be nice and be like,
right.
No.
Yeah,
look,
right?
though.
I could be wrong.
So Hanan seized David's ambassadors and shaved off half of each man's beard, cut off their robes at the buttocks, and sent them back to David in shame.
Damn.
He shaved half their beard and
I mean,
cut
that's
off
kind
their
of
robes
funny.
at their butt.
That's kind of funny.
And he's like, "Get!"
I mean, he didn't kill him.
No,
I mean,
he just made him look silly.
But look, now that he did this, it made them look silly. David's going to kill them.
David is going to kill them.
I'm like, I don't know that shaving someone's beard is worth war, man.
Right?
Like, to me, that's just funny shit.
You were just clowning, and now y'all gonna get conquered.
Right?
When David heard what had happened, he sent messengers to tell the men, "Stay at Jericho until your beards grow out, and then come back." Yeah, don't be coming home looking like a clown. Stay over there. No clowns allowed. We don't take kindly to clowns. He can't have
his people coming back being, they were...
the laughing stock.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, they were made to look like fools.
By a foreigner.
Yeah, no
like, that
fools.
Can't happen.
We do not like foreigners making our people look like fools.
We don't want to show the weakness, you know. He's not down with the weakness.
For they felt deep shame because of their appearance.
Yeah. I can imagine.
They looked stupid, all right.
Yep.
I mean, let me ask you this. Like, okay, you don't have a beard, but let's say that the next time you went to get your hair cut, that the hair cutter person cut half of your hair off, and...
I totally own that shit.
And also
you know I would.
They cut your pants so that your butt was hanging out.
Okay, I might not own that shit. But the hair, I could handle the hair.
But could you imagine me saying, "You better stay over there in Centerville or Oxford or wherever"?
No.
You stay over there till your fucking hair grows out.
Nope.
And also get your pants in order, my dude.
No. I mean, I'd run down to Walmart and get me a new pair of pants, and then, I
literally, like, one time I split my pants, and I literally stopped at Dollar General to pick up some sweatpants because it
was like the only place on the way.
It was the only place on the way. And I bought me some sweatpants, and that's what I wore that day, because what you gonna do?
Right.
When the people of Ammon realized how seriously they had angered David, I mean, what did you fucking expect, you guys?
Right, he's a lunatic, and you just,
pissed him off.
So, yeah, I mean, if you were going for that, that's what you were going for, I'm assuming, because you did it.
So when the people realized, ooh, we did the thing that we did it. Oh, no.
Right.
They sent and hired 20,000 Aramean foot soldiers from the lands of Beth Rehob and Zobah.
Because they're like, we going to war.
1,000 from the king of Makkah, and 12,000 from the land of Tob.
Okay.
That's a lot of dudes
That's
they
a
hired.
lot, yeah. But you know what? Hired mercenaries don't fight as well as homegrown ones. So.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
When David heard about this, he sent Joab and all his warriors to fight them. Yeah, he did. He's like...
Sorry, I was drinking some delicious coffee just then.
What kind of coffee are you drinking?
Well, so it's not official yet, but we actually have our own coffee website now.
Do we?
That I'm going to be setting up like special subscription plans for our listeners. But it's ungodlybrew.com, and every purchase, there's a portion of it that goes to the Freedom from Religion Foundation. So if you want to go check it out, ungodlybrew.com, guys.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry. Shameless plug there. But
yeah,
hey.
it is delicious, though.
It is delicious. I love it.
This is our first cup tonight that we're having.
Right.
And yeah,
it's
pretty
good shit.
So anyways, back to war. The Ammonite troops came out and drew up their battle lines at the entrance of the city gate. How do you do that? You drop your battle lines. We're standing here, and we are going to war you.
Think it's not. You're not drawing them. You're just. The commanders are like, line up here, guys.
So they're lining up.
Yeah.
So they're doing it. They're going to line up.
Yeah.
While the Arameans from Zobah and Rehob and the men from Tob and Makkah position themselves to fight in the open fields.
Okay.
Here, it's coming. They're warring.
I mean,
they're
obviously.
Do the war.
Yeah, because they shaved some dude's fucking head.
And cut his shorts off.
And whatever. But, like, they didn't kill them. I'm just... No, I got to lead with that, because, like, they didn't kill them.
They just merely embarrassed them real bad.
Right. And I'm sorry, but can you imagine, in this day and age, starting the war because you're fucking embarrassed?
Yes, because men have egos stuck the size of their wieners. Their egos are so tiny.
I was drinking that coffee so fast it went down the wrong tube.
Oh my gosh, are you okay?
I'm good. I was trying to get it all down before you stopped talking so I could respond.
Oh, well.
And then it didn't work out so well for me.
Don't do that.
Yeah, I mean.
So anyways, men have little teeny tiny dick egos.
Yeah.
And you make them look stupid, they will kill your ass.
I mean, I'm not going to kill your ass for making me look stupid.
No, I'm just saying.
I'm going to own being stupid and then just go with it.
I love it. Like, you fall down and we laugh at you and you just hop back up and you laugh with us.
That's the only way to go.
I mean,
if you don't let somebody make you look stupid, then you win.
I think that the best comedians out there are the ones that can laugh at themselves. The self-deprecation is big.
So then I must be one of the best fucking comedians out there.
I wouldn't go that far. I didn't say you're a comedian. I said that the best comedians are able to do that.
Okay. All right.
That is a skill you possess. Were you ever to go into stand-up?
Right.
But that's not
I'm
to
merely
say
a podcaster, so.
You would not make it as a stand-up comedian.
No?
I do not think you would.
What about a sit-down comedian? Perhaps. Okay.
Perhaps.
All right.
I think
I'll go on the Lazy Boy tour.
The Lazy Boy tour.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
When Joab saw that he would have to fight on both the front and the rear, he chose some of Israel's elite troops and placed them under his personal command to fart. No, that is incorrect. To fight the Arameans in the field.
Yeah.
He left the rest of the army under the command of his brother Abishai, who was to attack the Ammonites. Okay, so they're fighting on both fronts.
Yeah.
Because
with lots
they look
of people.
Stupid.
Lots of people.
Because they look stupid.
Because two people look stupid.
Because two people look dumb.
Yeah.
So embarrassing, though. I mean, I'm just saying, like, one time, when I was in 5th grade, this hummingbird was in our classroom. It was amazing. And it buzzed right by my head.
Yeah.
Like, it flew by.
Right.
And I turned around real fast. And I turned around so fast that I farted. And that was so embarrassing. I wanted to die. And how do you own that? I mean, if you're a guy, guys don't give a fuck.
Right.
But if you're a girl, you're not supposed to fart. And
right.
so
Especially
I died.
back in the 80s.
Yeah, I died.
No farting in the 80s for girls.
No, girls do not fart in the 80s. Not in Live to Tell the Tale.
I suppose it's probably a lot the same today, but I don't know. I'm not in the schools these days.
I mean, I don't remember a lot of things from that time period, but that is one of the things, it will never escape me. So, I mean, I know what it feels like to look stupid, but
I mean, to be fair, I didn't exactly want to fart in class either, because you had to be prepared. Even if you're a guy, you had to be prepared to own it, and I was pretty shy. You know, so I was like, nah, I'm good.
But
I'm not going to fart. You got to let that slow trickle come out, you know?
Okay, I didn't know it was coming.
No, I know.
I had no idea I had to fart.
That one caught you by surprise, but I'm saying in general, like, if I had to fart in class, I'd be like, okay, let's just squeeze this one out real slow.
Obviously, that's the way we all do it,
right.
I would think.
Yeah. And then it's just a smell, right? So, like, then it could be anybody.
It could be anybody.
Yeah. And if you don't, the person who dealt it the person who smelled it dealt it. Right?
So you
just got to not speak up, right?
Yeah, ever.
If you don't speak up, you're good.
Yeah.
That was my theory.
Yep. If the Arameans are too strong for me, then come over and help me, Joab told his brother. And if the Ammonites are too strong for you, I'll come help you.
What if they're both too strong for each of them?
Be courageous is the next line. Be courageous. Let us fight bravely for our people and the cities of our God. May the Lord's will be done.
Yeah.
They're like, whatever happens, happens.
Right.
We're going to go to war now.
And apparently, since they didn't cover it, if they're both too strong, they're just fucked.
They're just fucked.
Right.
Right. When Joab and his troops attacked, the Arameans began to run away. And when the Ammonites saw the Arameans running, they ran from Abishai and retreated into the city. After the battle was over, Joab returned to Jerusalem. Okay. That was easy.
Yeah. I was like, there's a lot of running.
Okay. The Arameans now realized that they were no match for Israel.
Right.
No shit. We conquered the whole fucking continent, didn't do it for you, huh?
Right, yeah.
Okay.
Maybe you shouldn't have, shaved them and shit.
Or at least if you were going to do that, don't come to them with a fight.
Right, yeah. Don't go hire an army and, maybe you should send, an immediate apology. Like, hey, we got a little carried away. It was a drunken night of, just brawl. And,
we took it wrong. We took it wrong.
Yeah.
We are so sorry. We really fucked that up.
Yep.
So when they regrouped, they were joined by additional Aramean troops summoned by Hadadezer from the other side of the Euphrates River. These troops arrived at Helam under the command of Shobach, the commander of Hadadezer's forces. When David heard what was happening, he mobilized all Israel, crossed the Jordan River, and led the army to Helam. Oh, y'all so dead.
Yeah.
The Arameans positioned themselves in battle formation and fought against David. But again, the Arameans fled from the Israelites. Arameans sucked back then.
Yeah, they seemed like they do a lot more running than fighting.
Mm-hmm. This time, David's forces killed 700 charioteers and 40,000 foot soldiers, including Shobach, the commander of their army.
Did you say 70,000 charioteers?
No, 700.
700.
Charioteers.
Oh, okay.
And 40,000 foot soldiers.
That's a lot. That's a lot
of dudes.
That's a lot.
When all the kings allied with Hadadezer saw that they had been defeated by Israel, they surrendered to Israel and became their subjects.
Yeah, but how did you become his subjects? Did he, measure you off with ropes and kill 2/3 of you?
No, they just became their subjects.
Okay.
So he didn't
have to
They didn't become prisoners. No, they didn't become prisoners. They just became subjects.
All right.
After that, the Arameans were afraid to help the Ammonites. The end. Yeah, I'd be afraid too.
Sure.
Fair.
But dude, just why would you fuck with David?
Why would you fuck with David or the Israelites or anything to do with them? Honestly,
I'm sorry, but based on how much fighting he's been doing, you can't be in that general vicinity and not know dude's conquering a lot of fucking people.
And he does not like to be messed with.
Right, because some dude from your fucking tribe wandered off and was like, whoa, they're fucking killing a lot of people over there.
You had to have got the news.
Right?
It just doesn't make any sense.
Somebody ran away from one of those battles and was like, oh my God.
They are badass. We need to never fight them ever.
Can I hang out here? Because they just slaughtered us over there.
Yeah.
Somebody, so they knew. They fucking knew.
They knew and they did it anyway.
Right.
But you know what? They were probably as sure that God was on their side as the Israelites were sure that God was on their side.
Right.
Because everybody thinks that God is on their own side.
But I just want to point it out because, David is, according to the Bible, on God's side, right? Mm-hmm. David went to go kill people because they embarrassed 2 of his people.
Right.
2 people got fucking embarrassed and he goes to war and kills tens of thousands of people.
Sure.
2 fucking people with bad haircuts.
Meanwhile, we've got Brittany Grimer, a world-class athlete, stuck in Russia, and we can't get her out.
Yeah, that's crap. That is crap.
I'm just saying, I'm not saying that David is in the right here, but comparatively speaking, it's just interesting to me.
Right.
That at least he stood up for his guys.
Yeah, I guess so.
I'm not saying that he was right to go to war and slaughter entire nations.
Right.
At all. That's the opposite extreme.
Yeah.
The opposite extreme where we're doing nothing.
But look, would you be okay if we killed, 47,000 people to get Brittany Grimer back?
I literally just said that's the opposite extreme.
Right. I'm just saying. So, but this is God saying it's okay, essentially, because God and David, right? They're tight.
Right. So
God is like, hey, dudes, it's cool. Go kill them because they gave you bad haircuts.
It sounds like if you are Christian, you should be following David's example and going to war with Russia to get our Britney back.
Or standing out great clips and giving everybody that gets a bad haircut, fucking, go to war with them.
Yeah.
Or something.
Okay.
I don't know. No, it'd be the other way around. You want to go to war with Great Clips because they gave you a bad haircut.
I don't want to do that. Great Clips has not ever done me bad.
I mean, we can't have a siege around Great Clips?
No.
Damn it.
They've never done me wrong.
Me either.
I don't need to go pay like hundreds and hundreds of dollars because I'm just not that person.
Right.
So, no, they've done me fine. Whatever. I go in, I get my hair cut, they're fine.
Yeah.
Never been embarrassed.
Okay. Well, no sieges at Great Clip then. Don't
go to war with Great Clips, y'all. That's not what I'm advocating over here.
All right, fine.
And also, I'm not saying let's go to war with Russia. I am just saying we could maybe do a little bit more to get our Brittany Grimer back.
Sure. So anyway, that was 2 Samuel chapter 10.
That was.
Okay, and today is Friday, so that means that tomorrow is our Q&A.
That is correct.
And Sunday is our weekly replay?
As well as our book club.
Oh, yeah, that's right. How's that coming?
I am about halfway through where I need to be.
So you got some cramming to do.
So I got some cramming to do, but okay. I will get it done.
All right.
And it is just as interesting as the first section.
And then on Monday, we're going to be back with
2 Samuel chapter 11.
All right. We will see you guys tomorrow for the Q&A and the rest of the weekend. So,
yep.
Bye.
Bye. Husband.
Wife.
It's Q&A Saturday.
It is.
Do you know what we're queuing?
I actually have no fucking clue.
Well, I picked a few different questions throughout this last week.
Okay.
So I've got a couple of different topics that I cover from 2 Samuel chapter 6 through 10.
Okay.
Nothing particular, just a few different things that we had.
A few different things.
Questions about.
Let's go find out what these few different things are.
Okay. And then answer them.
Yeah, and then answer them.
Yeah.
All right.
So my first question comes from 2 Samuel chapter 6.
Okay.
And our big source of contention in that chapter was, why the fuck did God get so pissy when one of the people reached out to study the ark as it was being transported?
Yeah.
And then it was like, you shall not touch me ever, die, motherfucker!
Yeah, that made no fucking sense.
Well, actually...
Actually? I call bullshit, but okay.
I know. Transporting the ark on a cart was specifically against God's command.
I never heard that before.
You did, though.
Did I?
You did.
Oh.
Yeah. The ark was designed to be carried by man, and way back when it was composed, that was stated.
Okay.
And it was specifically only to be carried by Levites of the family of Kohath.
Ah.
So, yeah.
Okay.
We actually did hear that rule laid down, and David disobeyed that. So,
well, then why isn't David in trouble too?
But because David didn't touch it.
No, that's lucky for him.
It was fine when it was being carried, but then somebody touching it was like one too many.
Okay.
But here's the thing. I don't know if you recall, but back in 1 Samuel, the Philistines transported the ark on a cart.
Yeah.
Right. But they got away with it because they were Philistines, and God expects more from his people. Israel was to take their example from God's word, not from the innovation of the Philistines.
This sounds like a bunch of bullshit, just concocted. I mean, sure. Okay, so they had a fucking rule.
Mm-hmm.
All right, but it just sounds like a bunch of bullshit. And why did only one person die? There's a whole. Well, he wasn't the only person transported on the cart.
But he's the only one that touched it.
Right, to save it from falling over.
But that's being presumptuous that God couldn't have corrected his own self or whatever. I'm telling you what the apologists say. Okay. The apologists say it was a rule, it was laid down, and they might have got away with just getting it on the cart from here to there, but then when somebody touched it, just like when the other people, Israelites, opened it to see what was inside.
Yeah.
And they all melted.
Yeah.
This guy wasn't supposed to have done that.
It's
he
fucking
wasn't supposed
bullshit.
to. Totally agree. God being a stickler for that particular rule was shitty.
Yeah.
But having said that, there was a rule.
Okay.
So
Fine.
there's that.
Fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then, remember how David reacted with fear and anger, and he was like, "That's fucked up," and then he was like, "Oh shit, I'm scared of God now."
Yeah.
So, the reason that he left the ark with Obed-Edom, that fulfilled God's word, because Obed-Edom was a Levite.
Okay.
So he left the ark with the family that was from the tribe of Levi that God commanded to carry the ark and take care of it.
Okay.
So that was from back in Numbers.
I gotta say, so this is like 300-400 years after all this shit, right? Mm-hmm. Our country's been around for like 300 or 400 years. Mm-hmm. How do you keep track of who's who, especially without Ancestry.com?
I don't know. I'm not here to answer that question.
I know. I'm just saying, it seems like a difficult task.
No, I totally agree.
That's all.
I'm not saying whether this is right or wrong.
No,
okay?
I know.
I'm here to answer that question as to why this, and the answer is that.
I'm just pointing out how ludicrous it all sounds.
Sure.
That's
totally
all.
Ludicrous, ridiculous, foolish, stupid.
Yeah.
One might even go so far as to say.
Right.
So, okay. Remember in 2 Samuel when we got all bent out of shape because David hamstrung all the chariot horses? And we were like, what the fuck?
Yeah, that was crap.
What did the horses ever do?
Why did you do that to the house? Yeah.
So this was a military necessity, and he wasn't just being cruel to animals, because he couldn't care for so many horses while they were in the middle of a military campaign. And yet he also couldn't give them back to the enemy. And so they were going to starve to death anyway.
Okay.
So.
All right.
He lamed them.
All right. That's better than just,
right.
Can't you give us, okay, you're telling this huge story, right? Can't you give us just, that little bit amount of detail in the Bible instead of, just leaving us thinking that he just killed 7,000 fucking horses?
And it didn't even say killed. I said he just kneecapped them. Or,
right, yeah.
Lamed them.
Right.
Why can't you just say real quick, hey, he was in the middle of a thing, he was busy, rather than let these horses starve to death or set them free to be, marred by wild animals or something.
Right.
He put them out of their misery right quick and killed them.
Right.
I mean,
that would
still not
it
cool,
still wouldn't be cool, but it would have
makes
at least
sense.
there's an explanation behind it.
Right. And I don't know that that's a factual explanation. That's just the explanation that I found as an answer why.
And that sounds legitimate enough.
Sure.
So
I'll buy that one.
I'll buy that one.
Okay. So remember in 2 Samuel a bit later on when David was like, is there anyone left who is from the house of Saul that I can show him kindness for Jonathan's sake?
Aside from Michael.
Right. Besides Michael.
Yeah.
Because Michael is just a bitch in his
right,
eyes.
Yeah.
And plus a woman.
Yeah. Why would you honor her?
So it was customary in those days for the king of a new dynasty to completely massacre anyone connected with the prior dynasty.
Oh, damn.
Right? Because obviously they present a threat and, not only that, but in order to show off your power.
Well, that kind of is what they've been doing, sort of, too.
But David remembered his relationship and covenant with Jonathan.
Yeah.
So he wanted to
not
pay that off.
Right.
Yeah. And also because he was still in his God is great, God is good phase, and he's like, I want to show the goodness of God, and how do I pass that on to other people?
Right.
So that was part of it too.
Okay.
So remember how the one guy was like, hey, there's still a son of Jonathan who's lame in his feet?
Yeah.
So that was I keep wanting to say Mephistopheles or Mephisto from the MC universe of characters. But no, it's Mephibosheth. And that was Jonathan's son.
And he got Mephibosheth.
Yeah, and remember, he was made lame in his feet from the accident where he was dropped when they heard that his father Jonathan and his grandfather Saul had died in battle. That's specifically when he was dropped and handicapped.
Yeah, because they were running away.
Right. And the nurse had gathered the boy and fled in haste at that news.
You told me I was wrong when I said that the other day.
I probably did. I don't always know. I thought he was like killed I thought he was hurt way after that. Or way before that. I don't know.
Okay.
But no, you were right. I was wrong.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
No, that's all right.
She rightly feared, the nurse that was carrying him, rightly feared that the leader of a new royal dynasty was going to execute every potential heir of the former dynasty.
Okay.
So she picked him up and was like, oh, fuck, we got to go now.
Yeah.
And so the thing is that Mephibosheth had the right to the throne as the son of the firstborn son of the king, right? So he was literally the next heir in line.
Got it.
And so all the other potential heirs were dead. So the nurse was like, this is really terrifying.
Yeah.
And that's why she picked him up and fled and accidentally dropped him.
Yeah. No, I got it.
So in a political sense, David could see Mephibosheth as a rival or a threat.
Right.
But instead, he was like, no, I'm going to pass on God's blessings and also, while doing so, pay off my covenant with Jonathan.
Got it. Got it.
And so remember, this was the one question that we specifically had. Mephibosheth was like, I'm just a dead dog. Why are you being so nice to me? And we were like, dead dog? Was that like a saying or something? What the fuck? So apparently that was a saying, and a dead dog was equivalent to a worthless and insignificant person.
I mean, that's kind of the same meaning it has today.
Right. I mean, the connotation was there, but...
Like, it's not a common phrase that's used, but it's still... That is actually, used to this day.
Right. To this day. So Mephibosheth didn't feel worthy of David's generosity.
Got it.
Because he'd spent all those years, since his childhood, he'd spent all those years in hiding from the king and living in fear and poverty. And, like, think about this. Like, David had to learn about Mephibosheth, whatever his name is, from just some random guy.
Yeah.
Like a guard in his council or whatever.
Right.
So, I mean, this kid was literally in hiding all his life.
Yeah.
To where nobody even knew he existed.
Well, it's a good thing nobody decided to go get his head for David.
Right. Well, that's why he was like, oh my God, and threw himself on the ground prostrate and was like, you're awesome, I'm not worthy. Like, that's why, because he was like, I'm about to die.
Right.
For reals.
Right.
So it was amazing that David didn't kill him. Not only that, but he returned, like, remember we were like, God damn, he's just giving him all these lands?
Yeah.
Those were actually David's lands. So he was restoring David's lands to David's son.
Got it.
So that's why he got all those lands. But then on top of that, he got to further eat at the table with David. And so really, he restored those lands to David's son. But then that was just for David's son's family.
Right.
So I thought that was kind of interesting.
Yeah.
So then remember when we were like, what the fuck? Why is this so ridiculous? When Hanun. Okay, so remember David was like, oh, you guys lost your king. That's sad. I'm going to send some ambassadors. Oh, yeah,
the ones that got their fucking beards shaved half off.
And their
butts hanging out of their...
Yeah. So we were like, what the fuck is that about? That's silly.
I thought that shit was funny.
Right. Well, in that culture, many men would rather die than have their beard shaved off because a clean-shaven face was the mark of a slave, and free men wore beards. And furthermore, great value was placed upon their beards, and it was considered a man's greatest ornament, to the point that it was the greatest insult to cut it off or to cut it half off.
Interesting.
Like, they would swear by their beard. And in matters of great importance, they would pledge it. And they would redeem the pledge at the hazard of their own lives before they would give up their beard.
Wow.
Yeah, their beard meant a lot. So it was like a greater insult even than just making them look silly.
Gotcha.
Okay? And so cutting off their clothes at their waist
Yeah.
was more than just making them look silly.
Okay.
It was also exposing the degradation of their nakedness, because remember, you know, Christians hate...
Yeah.
These weren't Christians yet, obviously, because this was pre-Christianity.
Right.
But nudity was like so fucking taboo that they'd rather die than show their nuts.
Right.
And that was a great, great shame. Plus, even further than that, it showed off their circumcised penises, and they were in the land of heathens. So they would have looked totally ridiculous there and been made totally fun of by everyone who saw them. Was like, look at your funny looking dick. Oh my God, your dick is so funny looking.
And we all know how much guys like to have their dicks made fun of.
Right. So. Like, not at all. Because guys have the egos the size of a dick.
Right.
Which, generally speaking, isn't very much.
Right.
So their egos are just fragile little wiener dogs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So when they insulted the ambassadors, they might as well have been insulting the kings.
I still have to say that I don't think that having your dick shown off and cutting off half of a fucking beard is worth killing 40,000 people.
Right.
But, hey.
No, you know. I totally agree with you, but we're also looking through our eyes today of what that means.
Right.
Like, I'm trying to think of what insult would be equivalent to that in today's times.
Killing people.
Probably. But back then, I mean, they were basically sending...
Right.
Just... more than just a middle finger.
Sure.
You know, they were just sending the greatest of all possible insults.
Right.
And they were basically inviting him to war.
Sure.
So.
And people back then were barbaric and fucking...
stupid.
Yeah.
And David took the bait.
Right.
And was like, you want to be dead? I will dead you.
Oh, well, more importantly, God took the bait. Because David is on God's side.
That is true.
So I just want to make sure that that's clear.
That is true.
God supports David, so... God did not have to let them win that battle.
No, I totally agree with you. So that is the list of questions that I was able to come up with and answer for you from chapters 6 through 10 of 2 Samuel. Did you learn a thing?
I learned some things there, yeah. I always learn some things on these.
Do you feel learned?
I don't know if I feel learned. I feel more learned.
Do you feel more or less annoyed than you did prior to this?
That's a tough question because honestly, it's all stupid.
It's all stupid.
But
only the horse one.
The horse one
sense.
Redeemed some. Yeah, that redeemed.
And even that is questionable because I'm not sure I believe that.
Right. Plus, I mean, then there was the thing where I got proven right about the thing I said in one of the last chapters.
Fuck off.
So I like that bit too.
Fuck off. I said you were right. I was wrong. You don't have to keep rubbing it in.
You were asking.
So anyway,
I'm just saying.
Do you find this a satisfactory Q&A?
I am satisfied with this Q&A.
Okay, then let's out.
All right. See you guys.
Bye. Husband.
Wife.
It's the Sacrilegious Book Club.
Awesome.
And we are talking about Asimov's Guide to the Bible in our continuing journey through the book of Genesis.
In the Asimov's Guide to the Bible.
Yes.
The book club thing.
The book club.
Okay.
Yes.
So you ready to go book club it up?
Yeah, we're doing pages 33 through 48.
All right, let's do this.
Okie dokie. Okay, so we are picking up with Cain and Abel.
Okay.
Okay, that's our first section, starting on page 33.
Those loving brothers, got it.
Loving brothers. So, the word Cain comes from the Hebrew Cain, which means smith.
Okay.
As in metalsmith.
Okay.
As in workersmith.
Sure.
Okay. And the word Abel comes from the Hebrew Hebel or Hebel, which means a puff of air. And I'll get to that in a minute, of the difference between the two.
Sure.
Okay? So Cain was a farmer. Okay?
Right.
And he was also a smith, a metalsmith.
I did not know that.
I did not either. But for the sake of knowing that, let's say that we did know that.
Okay.
And obviously smiths are necessary for uses in metals, in ornamentation, and for weapons for hunting and warfare.
Killing brothers.
Right. No, he killed him with a stone, didn't he?
I think so, but still.
Right. Artisans and positions of honor and importance were granted to smiths.
Yeah.
They were like uber importante. Okay. So, something else that we should know is, I'm going to get into this a little bit more later.
Okay.
That a lot of these names of the kids and the begats and whatever,
yeah,
they're actually less about people and more about lands and groups of peoples. Okay. So Tubal-Cain is one of Cain's eventual sons or whatever.
Yeah, right.
What that actually meant was the Smith of Tubal, which is a district in Asia Minor.
Interesting.
Okay. And they produced superior weapons and were likely the founders of metallurgy, that area.
Huh. Okay.
Now, remember I said Abel means a puff of air?
Yeah.
So we've got a smith, which is a city kind of skill.
Right.
Right? Settled and all that.
Yeah.
Civilization.
Right.
Versus the briefness and instability of the nomadic way of life.
Oh.
Against the steady push of the
Cain
farmer.
and Abel is kind of like a story of the rise of the city, essentially.
The rise of the city versus the nomads.
Yeah.
Right. Because Abel was a herdsman. He was a nomad.
Okay. Yeah.
So you're following where I'm going here.
Right.
So we've got the farmer versus the nomad. And these histories were written from the perspective of the peaceful farmers and city dwellers.
Yeah.
Okay?
Okay.
Versus the nomads who were ruthless and bloodthirsty barbarians and raiders.
Obviously.
Right.
Yeah.
So Cain's jealousy of Abel is likely, in part, quote, a remnant of some nomadic lament over the all-encroaching tentacles of settled civilization.
Okay.
End quote. Okay. The example that Asimov gave in the book was to think of the Wild West cowboys versus the fenced-in farmers.
Yeah.
And that even brought to mind that song, Don't Fence Me In.
Right.
Now, to bring it even further, I was trying to think of some modern day examples of what this might be.
Yeah.
Hollywood versus Wall Street, right? We've got Hollywood is the wild versus, Wall Street is about the money and settle down, blah, blah.
Okay.
Or art degrees versus the stable careers.
Definitely, yeah. The business degree versus the liberal arts degree.
Exactly, exactly.
Right?
So those are things that you might compare the two.
Right.
And
just for the record, I'm a fan of the liberal arts degree.
Oh, same here. But it's very, I don't want to say controversial, but in many families it is controversial. Our own child is suffering that. In our household, our child wants to pursue not just a degree, but a career in the arts as a digital artist or illustrator.
Right.
And their father at their other family house want them to go into business and to get a more stable career.
Yeah.
So,
or join the army.
That's...
Just saying. That was brought up.
That was brought up, but that's not pertinent to this conversation. I'm just saying, these things still have a way of existing through time.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
So that was section number 10, Cain and Abel. Moving on, number 11 is Nod.
Okay.
Starting on page 34.
Yeah.
So Cain murders Abel, and then he goes on to dwell in the metaphorical land of Nod.
Right.
Which is east of Eden.
Of course.
Right.
Yeah.
Don't forget, Eden is not a garden. It's a city in which the garden dwells.
Right.
Okay? So, Nod is Hebrew for wanderer. Again, nomad.
Right.
Yep. So, it's funny because Cain was the farmer the settled guy, then he became a nomad.
Right.
In the land of Od, and that's kind of ironic, right?
Right, but I mean, I guess because he killed his brother, his punishment was to become what his brother was, essentially, right?
Exactly.
So, or whatever, metaphorically.
Metaphorically. Yeah.
So.
And Eden, of course, is likely Sumeria.
Okay.
East of Eden, then the city, the area, would be Elam, which is southwestern Iran today.
Okay.
Okay.
Right. Yep.
The story of Cain and Abel is likely a combination of, quote, a villainous Elam attacking a blameless Sumeria.
Of course.
As told by the Sumerians.
Yeah.
And a villainous farmer, represented by Cain, attacking a blameless nomad, represented by Abel,
right,
as told by the nomads.
I mean, it's like any other story. You teach the people history, and when it's all spoken word, right, you teach them history by metaphorical, easy to grasp concepts. You know, like, so you break it down to a individual level, and it's much easier to explain why this is good and why this is bad, and keep things very surface as far as what you're teaching. So.
I mean, we do that still today. We give metaphors to try to like what I just did,
right?
Literally with the liberal arts versus the
make it more relevant for who you're talking to, or whatever.
Right, exactly.
Even for yourself.
Yeah,
because if it's easier for you to describe something this way than that way, then you do it that way. So
exactly, we try to make it more simple for a general and broad audience, and we even do that with math and word problems.
Sure. Yeah.
So okay, that's that section. Moving on to section number 12, which is Enoch of Cain, starting on page 35.
Okay.
Okay. So even though Cain was a farmer and then became a nomad, eventually he settled, married, and had a son, Enoch.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
And through Enoch, Cain had many descendants.
Yes.
Not going to get into those right now.
Right.
Will eventually, probably.
Beget.
Right. Likewise, or perhaps the basis of the Cain legend, pastoral Elam gave way to civilization.
Right.
I mean, as does.
Sure.
So.
Yep.
Pocahontas eventually married John Smith.
Well, I mean, like,
in
how
the
do
Disney movie.
How do you give the oral dissertation of, and the world became,
right,
like
exactly,
and especially in a time when you didn't have the internet, you didn't have even written word most of the time. I mean, there was Sumerian cuneiform. Yeah.
Right.
But I mean, there wasn't much tracking of anything.
Right. I mean, we're going to get into much more of that here in just a little bit.
Sure.
But that's Enoch of Cain.
Right.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Next section, 13, Seth, which starts again on page 35.
Okay.
And that was Adam's third son.
Got it.
So he had Cain and Abel, and then he had Seth.
Right.
Okay. Now, Adam supposedly lived 930 years.
Damn.
That's ridiculous.
That is ridiculous.
Obviously. These ages are part of the tales picked up during the Jews' Babylonian exile. Okay? So, all of these were modified by the priests as part of the peace strand. Remember the priestly...
The amount that people lived? Mm-hmm. They were modified by the peace strand, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Because... I'm going to get into this more in a little bit, but a lot of these were Sumerian stories.
Oh, okay.
That were then picked up and corrected and modified by the priestly strands. And a lot of these stories we have to take not as how they were originally told or even as how they were originally gathered into writing.
Right. We
have to take how they were interpreted by the priestly hands that put them down.
Wow.
Okay. That has to do with geography. That has to do with the politics of the time.
Right.
Everything that we read in the Bible must be viewed through that context.
I just listening to just these first couple of chapters of this book, it strikes me that if you are going to be a Christian or Jewish or whatever, right, that your church service, your pastor should be more of a historian than a feel good fucker up there in front of you, because like there's so much to understand and interpret about this that if you really are digging into this, you should be really fucking digging into this. They don't.
Well, it never occurred to me that these stories were gathered from multiple sources. I kind of knew that.
Right.
That kind of makes sense. But more that the stories are not to be viewed as they were originally told, but through the people who actually, and not even through the people who told them, and not through the people who gathered them and wrote them down, but the way we need to view them is through the people who put the most emphasis on molding them.
Right.
Because it would have been based on their understanding.
Yeah.
That to me is insane.
Yeah.
And that's where we get a lot of the geography from. It's their understanding of geography.
Right.
Not the people who preceded them.
From thousands of fucking years ago.
Right. But even at that, it's not from the people who preceded them.
Right.
Who
No,
came
there was
before
this
them.
point in time, at some point, that formed the entire idea of what the Bible is, and it didn't come from exactly before the Bible, and it didn't come from after the Bible. And it was just whatever they perceived it to be.
At that one point in time.
That's crazy.
That's crazy.
And obviously, and also it got rewritten from them and mistranslated. Sure. So, like, on top of that, right?
On top of that.
I mean, Jesus Christ.
Jesus Christ, indeed. So, the Peace Strand.
I just can't, every time you say Peace Strand.
I know, you got to think for a minute.
Yeah.
The P bit. The
priestly bit.
The priestly bit.
Yeah.
During the Middle Ages, the Jews calculated the date of creation specifically as October 7th, 3761 BCE. Okay?
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
During the Middle Ages, they came up with that.
Why?
They came up with it based on different dates, not dates, but ages of people that were given in the Bible.
Oh, so they're basing this on the Bible.
Well, yeah.
Okay, all right.
Obviously.
No, I'm just because I feel like that the people that were alive before that might have some questions for them.
Right.
Right. What the fuck, man?
So that specific date is still used in calculating the years of the Jewish calendar. So the current year, which is 2022, would be the year 5782.
I like that a lot better.
Right?
I mean, no, you know what? We're not that fucking advanced. I'm sorry.
No.
We don't get the number 5,000.
No.
We barely started evolving after the 2000s.
Exactly.
So, whatever.
Exactly.
Yeah, fuck off.
But I just found it interesting that year is still what's used on Jewish calendars.
Yeah.
Today.
Right. I think that we should start, this is all BCE, and we should start the 0 day at when we abolish religion.
That would be amazing. That would be fucking amazing.
I'm just saying,
So Christian theologians date creation as occurring at 9 a.m. on October 23rd in 4004 BCE. And that's where you get people like my dad who are young Earth creationists who believe that the planet itself is only 6,000 years old.
Oh my God.
Despite the many, many traces of things that we found that show the Earth is actually millions of years old.
Hold on, October 23rd. Mm-hmm. At 9 a.m.
At 9 a.m.
Okay.
And I'm not sure where that time came from.
I love it. They've got it down to a fucking hour.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's
1, 2,
awesome.
3, go.
Right? Yeah.
Everything was created 1, 2, 3, go.
That's amazing.
Okay.
It just doesn't that doesn't even sit logically in my brain. Like,
no.
I can't even pretend to make that work. I know that people do. I just don't understand it. I don't get it.
I don't even want to have a conversation because it starts with a profound lack of science and education.
If you say that to me, I laugh and then I go, oh, you were for real.
Exactly.
You actually believe that.
Right.
Oh.
Right.
We've got there's worlds. We're worlds apart. I'm sorry, but you need to go away.
Well, we were at my parents' house for dinner several weeks ago, and I asked my dad, who, when I was a child, was very interested in science.
Right.
And we would read science magazines, and we would talk about space and the probability or potential likelihood of life having developed on other planets,
right.
and asking the question, what does life actually mean scientifically and biologically?
Sure.
How would we know it if we saw it? I mean, very intense scientific questions.
I wish I would have met these parents of yours that you
Back
grew
then.
up with. Yeah.
Right.
But yeah.
And so I was talking to my dad about the recent UFO findings and reports that have been released from the Pentagon, and and the pilots that have come on record finally as saying, yes, there are things in the sky that they don't understand yet.
Right.
And all of that. And my dad poo-poos all of that and says, well, I'm a young Earth creationist, so I don't believe in any of that.
Let me just stop that right there, because at the it's one thing to defend religion, right? Mm-hmm. But like to not even, okay, let's say you believe in the young Earth creationists and you don't believe in aliens, you don't believe in any of that stuff. We're the center of the fucking goddamn universe, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, fine. But couldn't you at the very least be like, yeah, that's so weird. It's probably like the Russians coming up with, like, something. Can't you just give it some sort of an acknowledgement that it's out? Like, you don't have to, like, immediately jump to, I believe none of it because I am a young Earth creationist.
Well, that, my face kind of fell because, I was disappointed. Like, God, we can't even talk about this?
Right.
Holy shit.
Right.
But then I was like, but what does the age of the planet have to do with whether or not there are things in the sky we don't understand?
Right.
And I'm not here to say for a fact aliens exist, period, the end.
Fuck, okay? Maybe since the creation of Earth, maybe God got bored. I mean, we haven't really seen him around, and he went and started life on some other fucking planet, you know? I don't know.
I'm not even saying that, okay?
I'm just
Clearly,
saying.
because I don't believe in God.
Right. No, I'm throwing that out there, like, as a possible explanation as to why there could be aliens, right?
I just didn't understand what one had to do with the other.
Nothing.
What does the age of the Earth have to do with if there are things flying in the sky that we can't explain as of yet?
Nothing.
We being the average American, not people with a lot more scientific knowledge or top secret clearances or potential aliens. Yeah. I don't fucking know.
Right,
okay?
right.
So, yeah, that was just a strange conversation.
Yeah.
And heartbreaking.
Right. Because you realize that parent that you knew is dead and gone.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm no offense.
It's true. I have two sets of parents. There's the people that I knew when I was a child who were very cruel but believed in science. And then there's the ones that I know now who are very kind but very religious and horribly scientifically ignorant and anti-vax. And
it's a weird juxtaposition.
It is I'm not sure which I prefer. Most days, I think the abusive parents might be better because at least they believed in science.
Right.
And why am I in that position of having to ask myself?
It's a big mind fuck.
It is a big mind fuck. So, okay, moving on.
Yeah, sorry.
Okay. Section number 14, Enoch of Seth.
Okay.
Starting on page 36.
All right.
Okay, so we've got 10 generations of Adam through Seth that are listed.
Okay.
And these are where we start to get into these children that are listed are actually different people.
Oh, okay. All right.
Or not people, I'm sorry. Lands and
tribes,
peoples.
Type things. Yeah, right. Okay.
Right. So the antediluvian patriarchs.
Sure.
Can you suss out what that means? Antediluvian, meaning post-flood.
Oh.
Patriarchs will be the leaders of tribes.
Okay.
Okay? So
yeah.
The Diluvian era would be the flood era.
Got it.
Okay?
Okay.
Because, Diluvian.
Got it. Yeah.
Okay? So think of the word deluge.
Got it.
Flooded.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and I'm sorry, I said post, but I meant pre. Antediluvian would be pre-flood heads of tribe.
Okay.
Okay?
Yep.
So Seth and Cain lines have similar names. So, it is suggested that perhaps these are a combination of the J and P strands.
Okay.
Because they have very overlapping titles.
Got it.
And it just doesn't make a lot of sense.
Okay. Got it.
So we're going to go with that was just a bad recording of two different stories.
Got it.
Okay?
Yep.
So the long lives are likely from Sumerian legends. Remember I said that?
Yep.
And the writers of this section of the Bible cut down the ages to a more believable length over time.
Wow.
So
more believable. They're not very fucking believable.
But the Sumerian people stories, the people lived for thousands of years.
I mean, I just don't really see the difference between thousands versus...
Well, no. What they did was they cut down these earliest ones to about 1,000 years, right? And then you notice that each generation...
got a little smaller.
The people got a little smaller and smaller and smaller, lived up until... where they're more believable.
Sure.
That's what I meant.
Okay.
Okay, they cut them down over time, over the generations.
I got it.
Okay.
I got it.
So, what's interesting is that Jared, which is one of the descendants here, he lived 962 years.
Got it.
Okay. You remember Adam lived almost 1,000 years, right?
Yep.
So, Jared's son Enoch lived 365 years, whereas Enoch's son Methuselah lived 969 years. So we went to 1,000 was Adam, and then we went. Jared was 962, Enoch was 365, and then we went back up to Methuselah. I just assumed
maybe he got murdered or fell off a cliff or something.
No. What happened was it is suspected that maybe since Enoch was between two long-lived peoples.
Yeah.
That 365 is an interesting odd number. Like, what do we think of when
a year?
The cycle of the sun, right?
Yeah, right.
As it circles the earth.
Yeah.
So it's suggested that perhaps this is like the remnants of some Babylonian sun myth.
Oh.
That kind of a little bit made it into the Bible.
Interesting.
Okay.
Okay.
The post-exilic Jews, meaning after the Babylonian exile, believed that Enoch was taken alive into heaven for his piety.
Okay.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So he's supposed to have been God is great, God is good. And so God loved him so much that he took him early, but he took him alive. So Enoch never died.
Got it.
He's still alive, right?
Sure.
He's considered a prophet. And so while he was in heaven, Enoch saw past and future of mankind, and he wrote books that didn't make it into the Bible.
Oh, damn.
Okay. Enoch's prophecies are going to be mentioned at some point in the New Testament in the book of Jude.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Right?
Huh.
So...
that sounds like a great name for something. Enoch's prophecies.
Right? Yeah, it sounds like a good name for a book of the Bible.
Well, yeah, but I mean, like, just
Enoch, or the prophecy of Enoch.
Right, yeah.
And again, his son Methuselah lived 969 years. I know I've said that a couple times now. But Methuselah itself has become synonymous with long-lived.
Got it.
So, like, when you hear the name Methuselah attributed to anything, you understand that now to mean... this is somebody or something that lived a really long time.
Got it.
Okay. So the number of years is kind of irrelevant.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep.
So next section, number 15, Ararat, page 38.
Okay.
Okay. So this is where we start getting into Noah.
Got it.
Noah was born about 1,056 years after the creation.
Okay.
And that's, again, based on...
according to them... Genesis, or I'm sorry, most of the people had just died from the first round of people.
Right, exactly.
Adam just missed visiting with Noah. I mean, I'm just saying, like based on time frames here.
It's true. It's true.
Okay.
So at about age 600, then came the flood. So this would have been about 2,400 BCE.
Okay.
Came the Great Flood.
Yep.
Okay, the capital F flood.
Right.
evidence does exist that somewhere about 3000 BCE, there were likely drastic floods of the Euphrates in Samaria.
Okay.
Likely accompanied by a sudden rise in water level.
Sure.
And that would have been of the Persian Gulf.
Mm-hmm.
And perhaps a large meteorite could have formed a huge tidal wave.
Yep.
So you've got all the rains, you've got the flood, you've got the tidal wave, and that would have swept the people upstream, northwest toward Ararat.
Got it.
Okay? And I'll get into that in a second.
Okay.
But that's likely,
that would make sense.
The people of that time, the world is flooded.
Right.
You know, there is a great flood.
Yeah.
Now we're going to talk about, but one family survived.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So the flood story is likely based on the Sumerian story of Gilgamesh.
Okay.
Which I think we all kind of have heard of that before.
Right.
He was the king of the Akkadian town Erech.
Okay.
And Gilgamesh searches for eternal life, and he finds it with Utnapishtim.
Yeah, that guy.
Who was king of a Sumerian city at the time of the flood.
Okay.
Okay. So Gilgamesh goes on to retrieve the secret of eternal life, gets all the things that he would need to acquire it, but then through some other series of tragedies loses it and obviously doesn't attain eternal life. But be that as it may, that story precedes our Bible story of the flood.
Got it.
Okay?
Okay.
So clearly came from that, as did many Bible stories.
Yeah.
So a lot of people today think that Ararat was a specific mountain range because that's where in the Bible it says that Noah's Ark came to rest on Mount Ararat.
Right, right.
But it was a region, not a specific mountain range.
Ah.
Okay?
Okay.
And it's referred to several different times in the Bible as an area or a kingdom or a land, not a specific mountain.
Got it.
It's likely Urartu,
okay,
a kingdom during Assyrian times among the mountains of the Tigris and Euphrates in current eastern Turkey.
Okay.
So somewhere in that area is a bunch of mountain ranges.
Sure.
And that city, Urartu, ceased to exist by 612 BCE due to Assyrian attacks.
Okay.
Okay. But Assyrians likewise were simultaneously being destroyed by the Persians, who called that area Armenia.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep.
Interesting.
Yeah.
The modern Mount Ararat consists of two ranges, the Great Ararat and the Little Ararat. And tradition incorrectly fixes Noah's Ark as resting on Great Ararat. And there are several expeditions sent to that mountain periodically to try to dig up the Ark. But they're probably not even looking on the right fucking mountain because they're basically stupid.
Right.
And didn't even do the littlest bit of research that we are doing, which is sad because we are dum-dums.
Right.
So now as I'm flipping through my notes, you will see, what do you see, my dear husband?
I see Noah's Descendants, Table of Nations.
Yeah. I had to print out, separate from my notes, a list of Noah's descendants because I was getting so fucking confused.
Oh, we were confused when we read it.
Yeah. So Noah's descendants, his three sons are Japheth, Shem, and Ham.
Right.
Okay?
Yep.
And then Japheth had several people who had more people.
Yep.
Shem had people who had more people. And then Ham had people who had more people.
Right.
You said that it's referred to as the Table of Nations. This is specifically where it starts to count as tribes and peoples and countries and nations.
Gotcha.
Not individual persons.
Yeah. By the time you get down to the bottom, I see the ites and stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, that sounds familiar.
Yeah. So here's where it gets a little bit confusing, but we're going to we're going to do the best that we can. Okay.
Yep.
So next section is number 16, Ham, page 42.
Okay.
Okay. So Noah's sons again were Shem, Ham, and Japheth. And actually, I've been pronouncing Japheth wrong.
Oh.
Because the J is a Y. So it's Japheth.
Ah.
Okay. That matters later.
Okay.
Okay. So
Japheth.
just keep that
All right.
in the back of your brain.
Got it.
Okay. So Shem's descendants occupied the Arabian Peninsula and northern regions, including the Tigris-Euphrates region.
Sure.
Okay.
Okay.
And I'm going to break each of these kids down, each of these 3 kids of Noah, down into what they actually represent.
Okay.
So Shem was in the Arabian Peninsula. Shem equals Sem, and that is the Semitic peoples.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep.
And the languages include Hebrew, Assyrian, Aramean, and Arabic.
Okay.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Ham is considered the father of Canaan, and his descendants occupied the corner of Africa adjacent to Asia.
Okay.
And the peoples are Hamitic, as opposed to Semitic.
Got it.
We've got Hamitic.
Got it.
Okay.
Yep.
The languages are Coptic, Berber languages of North Africa, and Ethiopian languages like Amharic.
Got it.
Okay.
Okay.
Japheth's descendants occupied regions north and east of the Tigris-Euphrates region, and those peoples are referred to as Japhetic or Japhetic.
Right.
Those languages are obscure northern mountainous regions of the Caucasus, ancient Persian, and most Indian and European languages, which are now referred to as Indo-European.
Got it.
Okay?
Yeah.
So, I know that was all boring, but I promise it comes back and it's interesting.
Okay.
Okay? I'm going to read a quote here from Asimov's book. Quote, some moderns seem to think that Ham, which was the Hamitic languages, represents the Negro peoples, and that this chapter can be used to justify Negro slavery. This is the purest piffle. Neither Ham, Canaan, nor any of their named descendants were viewed as Negroes by the biblical writers.
Right.
Okay? And I specifically wanted to point that out because today we still view that, not we, me and you, but many people today do view Ham as an excuse for slavery, and Asimov is here to say absolutely fucking not.
Right. That makes sense. I just wanted to make sure. Yeah.
And apologies for any offensive use there of a word that I'm not familiar or comfortable saying.
Right.
I was reading the quote and I felt it was important in what he was saying was to negate that belief.
Right.
So,
okay.
Was not trying to be in any way insulting to anybody there.
Right. Okay. I just... Yeah.
Nope, you got it. Next section, number 17, page 45.
Okay.
The Japheth.
you had to correct yourself there.
I did. Japheth.
Yep.
He is the ancestor of the Greeks, often identified with Iapetus.
Okay.
And in Greek myth, Iapetus was a titan and was the father of Prometheus, who fathered the human race by molding them from clay. Right.
That was one of the early versions of how... Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You got it.
Interesting.
Yeah. So Japheth fathered Gomer, Magog, Madai, Yavan, Tubal. We've heard that name before.
Yeah.
Meshech and Tiras. Okay?
Yep.
This is why I had to print out that chart, because these names, I'm like, wait, who are we with now? Okay, so we're going to talk about Japheth's child, Gomer.
Okay.
Gomer is related to Gomerai.
Sure.
Or the Sumerians, not Sumerians, the Cimmerians with a C,
okay.
I, not S-U, Cimmerians.
Okay.
Who wounded the Assyrians. Okay? They didn't defeat them, but they fought them, and they did a good job of hurting them.
Got it.
He fathered Ashkenaz, Riphath, and Togarmah. Who cares?
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
Again, these are peoples, though, not persons.
Right.
Okay?
Yep.
Ashkenaz is the Assyrian Ashguza, which are the Scythians, the nomadic tribes who drove the Cimmerians, CI, into Asia Minor.
Okay.
Magog, the land of Gog, or the Gyges, ruled the Lydians in Western Asia Minor, and they died in battle against the CI Cimmerians.
Okay.
Okay. Madai is the Medes, inhabited the territory east of Assyria. Okay, so these, again, I just can't say this enough. These are not individual people.
Right.
These are entire civilizations that we're talking about.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yavon, or Javan is what I've always said, but it's Yavon, was from the Greek Ion or Yon. Okay. And he's from the Ionian Greeks. And they migrated east to occupy islands in the Aegean Sea and coast of Asia Minor.
Okay.
And fathered the following: Elijah, which is from the Greek Alashaya, and that represents the island of Cyprus.
Okay.
He also fathered Tarnish, which is a city in Spain, or else the Greek town Tarsus, which is 100 miles north of Cyprus on the southern coast of Asia Minor.
Gotcha. Okay.
Also, Kittim, which is Greek Kidian or Latin Citium, which is the city on southern coast of Cyprus.
Okay.
So we're naming off different... when we say that Noah fathered these nations...
Right.
That's
he fathered
literally...
these cities, basically.
Yeah, and that's literally what they're saying. Like...
Got it.
This is a tribe of nations, not sons.
Got it. Yeah.
And one final one, Dodanim, which is Rodanim, which is the island of Rhodes, 200 miles west of Cyrus.
Okay.
Okay. Now, we're going back up to another... You know what? Who even cares who's related to whom at this point?
Right.
It doesn't matter, honestly, in the long run, because if you were really interested in this chart, you could print it out. I went on Google and just searched for Noah's tribes or Noah's ancestry or descendants.
Right, and they've already got them out there.
Right. So Tubal represents the tribes in Asia Minor.
Okay.
Meshech represents tribes in Asia Minor, and Tyrus represents tribes in Asia Minor, the Greek Tyrosoi, who migrated to Italy and likely were the Etruscans.
Okay.
All right, last section.
All right.
Number 18, Cush, page 47.
Okay.
Ham's sons were Cush, who are the Ethiopians south of Egypt, Put, which are the Libyans, Mizraim, which are the Egyptians, and Canaan, which, the Canaanites.
Sure.
Another contradiction is that Cush is also described, just further down the same page, as father of the Arabian tribes.
Okay.
So, what the fuck, Cush? It's unclear if there are two Cushes or if he was misnamed or what.
What's interesting to me, they're naming off the tribes that are kind of like in Africa, it seemed like. And so, but when in the Bible, later on, they're fighting Canaanites up in Israel, which is closer to not Africa. I mean, I guess it's close enough to Africa.
Well,
but it's still...
I think that we're used to viewing the map as, quote-unquote, up there.
Right.
And they're naming places, quote-unquote, down there.
Right.
And we just have to change our frame of reference.
Sure. Yeah, Africa doesn't necessarily mean... Like, they didn't know what a continent was back then, right? So it was just an area in this general area.
Right. And this would have been all in regards to where... the cradle of life, where civilization is said to have sprung from. So it makes total sense.
Yeah, it does.
Having come out of Africa.
Yep.
So, that is it for this section of the Bible. You'll be very excited to know that I stopped right before Nimrod.
Oh, man. Nimrod.
Yeah. That is literally the next one that we'll cover.
That is very exciting to me.
If you are reading along and want to play this game with me, next time I'll be covering pages 48 through 65 in still the book of Genesis in Asimov's Guide to the Bible. And those sections will be Nimrod, Aram, Babel, Ur of the Chaldees, Haran, Canaan, Egypt, and Pharaoh.
Awesome. All right. Well, we'll see you guys next week with the next book club.
Alrighty.
All right.
Bye.
Hey, wife. I guess that's the end?
But husband, that's just sad.
It doesn't have to be. We are on lots of social media platforms like Twitter. Our handle there is sacrilegious_D.
For D's nuts.
Oh my God. Stop doing that. Anyway, we're also on Facebook, Instagram, and Pinterest. There's a link to all of our social media sites at our website.
Ooh, we have a website?
Yeah, it's sacrilegiousdiscourse.com, where you can also find a link to our merch shop.
We have a merch shop?
Yep, we have podcast-themed clothing, mugs, notebooks, and more, as well as an atheist and science-themed products.
Wow, our fans should really go check that out right now.
Definitely. They can get in touch with us by sending an email to sacrilegiousdiscourse@gmail.com. But before they do that, we could really use some help.
Oh yeah? With what?
Well, it's not free running the podcast, and we need some financial support in order to get better equipment, which will free up time so we can concentrate on our podcast and our fans.
Okay, so what should they do?
Head over to patreon.com/sacrilegious discourse and sign up as a contributor on our podcast. Supporters there receive additional bi-weekly episodes that we record just for our Patreon members for as little as $2 a month.
Also, we'd really appreciate it if you would like and subscribe on whatever platform you're using.
And Apple Podcast reviews help us out tremendously.
Like and subscribe. Leave an Apple review. Join us on Twitter. Support us on Patreon. That's a lot of instructions. Don't forget to say thanks.
Thanks.
Okay, bye.